Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Think Critical YouTube. Your Saturday morning delight is back and better than ever. We've got some major things popping off on Marvel Comics, major layoffs. We got Superman Day, the anniversary of the first release of Action Comics #1. And we got Mr. Aaron Lepresti in the house. How you doing, Aaron?
Thank you. You know, Wes, it's a little early for me, but for you, I made the sacrifice and crawled literally out of bed at 6:30 this morning so I could be here. So I'm very excited. Thank you.
I appreciate that. The time is a little bit early, but I was, when I first started the channel, we wanted to do a live stream. I was looking for the right time. And back then, like, everybody would just stream whenever they wanted to, and nobody had a schedule. So I figured 10 a.m. on Saturday, nobody's going to want to do that with me.
Especially if it's on the West Coast. But look at Sparrow. Sparrow's a West Coaster, and he's up, and he looks spry and ready to go.
Oh, you wouldn't believe the amounts of unguents and salves I have to use to look this good on a Saturday morning.
He's got a Bane Venom kit. I swear.
Various mephitic packs are made,
I don't normally drink coffee, but this is one of the days where it's like, oh, I should have had a cup. I do it occasionally on a convention like San Diego if you're up too late, which I don't do anymore, but I used to stay up all night doing sketches, and then the next morning I'd just be like down in coffee, which I never do, but just to wake up. So
you're also on the West Coast. Are you okay?
I mean, it's 7 a.m., so powering through.
Did you guys say we should move the start time later?
No, I'm all for making Aaron and Dylan suffer. That's why I share my takes with them.
Why do you think Dylan and I are like so cynical in the morning? You got to sleep in the afternoon, maybe like, I don't know, man, things are okay, but like you get to 7 a.m. and we're like,
Dylan definitely saves the sunshine for his content, and I love that. He's got a great channel. You really do.
I don't know. Last Sunday, Dylan and I recorded a podcast, and he was not.
Wes could not stop talking about Dick. That's all he was talking about. Ask Tommy, by the way. It's not just me. Ask Tommy.
No, you were embellishing.
He's talking about like Leonardo DiCaprio wrapping his lips around one and like other things. He was going into detail. Me and Tommy were like trying to talk about UFC fights, and Wes just
that's not what happened.
I
accidentally saw the Basketball Diaries. I didn't know what it was about.
Accidentally saw.
I didn't know what it was about.
This guy turns off a Fincher movie if it bores him in 20 minutes, but DiCaprio's sucking some dick and he's got to sit there the whole 2 hours.
Wait, is that what goes on in the back? You know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I was like, I've never seen that movie, and now I really don't want to see that.
Yeah, and it was an accident, but. But this is what happened, Dylan. Because Sully had the crazy take on Jurassic Park last week, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I just recorded a review of Wonder Woman with Doc, and he's talking about why he doesn't like Daniel St. Pierre as an artist. And he's like, he reminds me too much of Gary Frank, who's also not a good superhero artist.
What?
Oh no,
Gary Frank's incredible.
My lobster's too buttery. My steak is too juicy. My
Crazy.
Jurassic Park is too loud.
Yeah,
both those guys are incredible. I love that. I just unfortunately stuck with Tom King right now, but he's a great artist.
Yeah, there was a Jurassic Park-esque take on the part of Doc, who apparently is out right now choking down a heater. Can't defend himself.
He's in flavor country.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "You're really gonna trash Gary Frank here on the channel?" I was like, "I can't believe this. He's amazing."
Really?
He's like, he doesn't make his heroes super enough. I was like, I don't know. Gary Frank's Superman's a fucking unit, man. Like, he's enormous.
Right.
He does a great job with heroes. He drew a great Legion of Superheroes too.
Yes.
He's done a great job with Justice League. Yeah, he's done a lot of really cool stuff.
Agree.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you how subjective art is, isn't it?
Yeah, all in the eye of the beholder. I even like who's that guy that Riley Rossmo. And you guys like, oh God, you got this guy, and I'm like, dude, he's got
Twinkle Toes
talent. Yeah, Twinkle Toes. There you go. See, his recipe.
Nobody's feet ever touch the ground in a Riley Austin book. They're all walking around on their tiptoes.
They're all doing ballerina feet.
Yes.
I love you guys. You guys actually still read comics, and I appreciate it.
No,
I mean, I keep trying to get out. But,
pulling me back in.
There's some really good comic books this week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to hear about it.
That Absolute Batman, Dylan, was fucking nuts.
Dude, I love the introduction of Scarecrow. Also, that page of him being in the building across the street was so good. Yeah, I enjoy that.
That's the best villain that they've introduced in Absolute Universe, bar none. Like, way better than any of the others.
It's hard to say because it's only one issue in, because I really liked Bane. I liked Bane a lot. But this is definitely up there.
Yeah. It was a really good intro.
It's great.
Well, that's good to hear, Wes, because a lot of times I tune in and watch your videos, and it doesn't seem like you like a lot that's going on in comics, but apparently...
You got to watch the best of the week. That's when we talk about all the really good stuff.
All right. I only see...
I probably need to do some more spotlights.
The algorithm does not recommend positivity.
That's right.
That is true.
There's positive videos on YouTube. Where's that at?
Over at my channel, but I got I'm blessed to have 1,700 subscribers, and that was because I earned them all, except for a few bots. We all get bots, Jeez.
So, Aaron, you have a book out right now. Is it on the Indiegogos?
It is on the new and improved Indiegogo, which is not improved, but yeah, it's Barbaric Adventures. It's kind of my little love letter to Savage Tales, if you will. There's two things I never got to work on in my time at Marvel and DC, and one was Captain America, and the other was like Savage Tales or Savage Sword of Conan. And I've always wanted to do a magazine like that because I grew up mainly in the 70s, and when Sword and Sorcery and that type of the monster books were the kind of the rage, and so I never got to work on anything like that for Marvel. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do one myself. So I took a break from Wraith of God, and I said, we're going to do this kind of side project. And I have David Williams and Dan Lawless are also contributing stories to it. And it's going to be black and white, but it's all with ink wash. And so it's not just straight black and white as you go, boy, that really needs to be colored. It's got the ink wash to it, so it gives it a little bit more depth and stuff. And quite frankly, at this point, it's some of the best work I've done. You can see the cover I painted, one of the covers behind me on the easel there. So yeah, it's currently active on Indiegogo, and it's a 64-page. It's square bound, so it's a little nicer than as a package than Savage Tales would be stapled and on newsprint. This is on going to be higher quality paper, but that is the general idea.
Congratulations. I can't imagine many things being better than Aaron the Pressy doing Barbarians and shit like that.
That's the way I feel about it. I can't imagine anything better. And that's why I recommend everybody get out there and back the project. I'm doing a little bit of oh, thank you. Wow, thank you very much. I have kind of as you can see that dinosaur back there and the thing. I got mine's kind of more along the veins of a Edgar Rice Burroughs type adventure, interdimensional dinosaur story. And David Williams is doing a medieval knight that has to fight demons to become a young medieval knight to become a real true warrior. And then Dan Lawless has a futuristic Mars that's fallen into chaos. And he has one guy that leads a rebellion against the powers of seas control. And so it's kind of a mix between sci-fi and barbarism. So a lot of good, fun stuff in there. And all the work that I've seen so far, the guys are producing is really, really top notch. So
tell Dan that hero better be wearing some purple.
I
took great offense to his comments, considering that I worked on Darkwing Duck. So
you'll have to imagine the color scheme, Aaron. Imagine what it might look like.
I'll get my markers out and I'll recolor it.
That's right, exactly. You can get 2 copies, and that way you can use one as a coloring book.
Somebody took offense to the color purple on Heroes?
No, it's a long-standing thing. Like Dan Lawless is like, heroes shouldn't wear purple, and then people were like pointing out heroes that wore purple.
The Phantom's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, Darkwing Duck. That just settles the argument right there.
Well, okay. Did you say the Phantom is pretty cool, Wes? Is that what you just said?
I like the Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but see, I could never get past the fact that this guy is wearing like hooded spandex out in the middle of the jungle, which we all know has got to be like 90 degrees and 100% humidity. I never quite understood.
Don't forget, Aaron, he's also got a nice little pair of blue underwear over the top, with some tiger stripes.
To keep him warm in the
It's very absorbent.
Yeah.
It's ideal. That's what Wes wears in the Philippines every day.
Absolutely.
Head to toe spandex.
Underoos on the outside.
Can you just imagine the Phantom going back to his lair at night and just wringing that costume out?
Mrs. Phantom going, can't you use some ivory soap or something, kid?
I don't know. Batman goes through Gotham City in full armor and beats the shit out of people. He's probably pretty sweaty.
It's only
big
armor
deal.
outside of the funny books. Inside the funny books, it's
Oops,
like,
I'm sorry.
fantastic.
I messed up my camera.
Have you ever seen the
angle.
the Pete Holmes Batman
Hey
skit
there.
where he's talking about sex with Talia, and then he's like, I spent all day in a leather suit, really seals in the flavor.
Yeah.
You got to imagine it's pretty cold at Gotham City though at night, so it's okay to be, armored up and.
It's
But
better than the
also,
jungle.
To Sully's point, it's different than the movies where it's like it's the most super advanced like fabric he's wearing, where like it adds his armor, but also keeps him cool, but also like it does everything. So
Yeah, really
kind of
breathe.
it's fine.
Still suit I ripped off of Frank Herbert.
I never really, when I read the Phantom, I don't go, man, where's the pit stains? Like, should he have some swamp ass?
Where does he put
all
his house keys?
That's all I can think about is why is he just like
House keys? He lives in a fucking cave. What are you talking about?
Phantom's like, it's so damn hot. Milk was a bad choice.
Wouldn't he be better off wearing some camouflage too? I mean, the purple, I don't know, purple and green, I guess the green of the jungle and the purple, the contrast, but I don't know. I never read The Phantom. I just saw the outfit and went, that guy lives in the jungle. I don't get it. So
Did you see the
maybe I should
movie?
just read it.
With Billy Zane?
Yeah, you gotta
Great
see
movie. Catherine
it.
Zeta-Jones.
People
Catherine
say that
Zeta-Jones.
movie was actually decent. I haven't, again, didn't see
No,
it.
it is, and if like people are like, "Oh, it's goofy," like he acts so goofy in it. But if you look at his movements and everything, he really is duplicating like the old serials. He's going just that much over the top, So if you appreciate the old serials, it really is a great homage to those.
Well, and
So you're sharing something.
It's
here,
Christy.
Preston.
It's
What are you
Christy
sharing?
Swanson. It's Christy Swanson, though, Wes. I don't think it's
Well,
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is the bad girl. What are you talking about?
Oh, you might be right. Yeah, I think you're right.
That's the first movie I ever remember seeing her in.
Ooh.
She must have been really young because the
Yeah.
first thing I saw her in was Zorro, and that was pre-Zorro, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was like 1990-ish. And that was a good age for those like golden age heroes. You had like Rocketeer, Dick Tracy, Phantom. Yeah, the
I like
Shadow.
the Dick Tracy
I
movie.
love the Shadow. Alec Baldwin.
The Shadow didn't come out. That didn't. Oh wait, yeah, that did.
That was the mid '80s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shadow was them trying to like get their own Batman franchise.
Right. It was like around 1990. There was just like post Batman 89. There was just like this huge chunk of just like, oh, I want to finally see Dick Tracy on film. Thank you, Warren Beatty. Actually, that's a really well done film. It's so bright, all these primary colors, all these outrageous bad guys, great makeup.
I think
Good
Madonna
acting.
ruined that movie. I didn't like it.
Really?
Madonna did ruin that movie. Yeah, but otherwise,
Couldn't act
otherwise,
back then.
otherwise, I love that movie.
Pre-Evita
Back then?
Madonna. Pre-Evita Madonna.
She couldn't act in Evita either. But no, I like I love the Shadow, even though the origin, they changed it a little bit. I love that film. Penelope Ann Miller.
Yeah.
Great,
Ian
great
McKellen.
ingenue. Ian McKellen. Yeah, early Ian McKellen. First time I ever saw Ian McKellen in a movie.
It's so funny. It was the first time I actually noticed a prop being reused. It was the same three-sided knife from The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, with the head on the end on the pommel, and that's the same. That's like, oh my god, it's the same knife in the Shadow.
Are we going to give any love to the Swamp Thing movie from the 80s?
Oh, Dick Durock,
Adrian Barbeau.
Adrian Barbeau.
Yeah.
Heck
It was
yeah,
great. Has nothing to do with the comic books, but it's a fun movie.
It's such a fun movie. That was. I can remember the summer that was in like infinite circulation on cable TV. It was like summer of '84 or something.
Adrian
and I must
Barbeau
have
running around with the white shirt.
Yeah, like he catching fire and Alec Holland catching fire and jumping out, running out into the swamp, and it was really good.
Really strange film.
Sequel,
Loved it.
not so much, but it was a good excuse to look at Heather Locklear.
Yeah. So you shared something here, Lepresti. What do we got?
Oh, I just thought, I don't know what you guys' format here, but I thought, well, I might as well, since I'm talking about it, might as well show the campaign, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the link in the chat.
Well, thank you. I just want to scroll through. So this will give you an idea of what the artwork looks like better. Obviously, this is my cover version featuring. I'm doing a story called Primal Zone. It's actually a new ongoing. So that's the cover for my story. There's David Williams' painted cover, which I really love. The Young Knight and the demons there. Dan Lawless's cover featuring his story. Then we also got Joe Jusko. How about that to contribute a cover? And this is Freya, the Ice Princess. She's a Yeti Slayer, and she has a small preview story in the book that I'm doing as well. And so we got Joe to provide the cover for that, and he did a great job, obviously. Here's some of the artwork on the inside. So this is from my story, and you can see what I'm talking about with the ink wash to kind of give it a little bit next level type feel to it. So
that looks
I
so
love
good.
black and white comic books. A lot of times they look better, especially if
Nice
you read
details,
stuff in
yeah.
digital. Black and white always looks better.
yeah, well, I don't want to. I don't want to rip on colorists, but I used to when I was younger. I'd rip on inkers.
Uh-huh.
Now it's the colorists that sort of determine if a book really looks good or doesn't. And I get so tired of oversaturated colors, and maybe that's just me being old school. But so this is kind of nice that we can sort of just stand on our own black and white work, and without taking a risk that the color is not going to really go with what you're trying to accomplish. And I've had good colorists, and I've had bad colorists, and so this isn't a budgetary thing where it's kind of like, oh, we're only gonna do black and white because it's cheaper. This is an artistic choice, so that we can all sort of kind of go to town, as you can tell on the pages, and not really have to worry about what it's going to look like after it comes back from the colorist. So, and here's a couple of pages from Dan Lawless. Now he's doing his, he does all of his inking and stuff digitally, but you can see it's.
But that's a great comparison. I'm not knocking. I'm with you, Aaron, on this. I mean, you can feel the artist's hand behind the inks, like compared to your two previous pages. I mean, just like look at that attention to detail. Look at that line work. Look at that. You can feel the artist's hand behind that line weight. It's unmistakable. I mean, digital doesn't do that. It's just there's a totality to digital that's just not laying down black ink.
Yeah, I'm very, very old school and kind of rejecting.
Love that.
And I'm old enough now that if I can just survive until I drop dead, I don't have to go digital. I'm pretty happy. So we'll see if I can make it. But there's a couple of things on this campaign. One of them is this 4-print portfolio that only comes in one of the options to buy is the big Barbaric box, which includes everything on the campaign. But I threw in a couple items that you can't get as add-ons. You can only get them if you buy the big Barbaric box. This portfolio is one of them. And then this 5th cover, this is a color rough. We're actually working on the finished piece right now, but this isn't the finished cover, but this will be kind of a Doc Savage, James Bama sort of motif. 5th cover that's only available when you buy the big Barbaric box. There's a 32-page sketchbook that's 8.5 by 11 that has all my Barbaric sketches, not just for the campaign, but other stuff I've had in my sketchbooks. And we've got a print here featuring the Snow Princess, or Ice Princess, excuse me, and Yeti Slayer called Snow Hunt. That comes signed by me. You can get a shot glass because we've been doing shot glasses since the very beginning, as I started self-publishing under the banner of Empire Comics. That we've done. This will be the 5th shot glass. That's the logo that'll be laser etched into the shot glass. And I've been dumping a bunch of original artwork on here to help bring in some more money to reach our goals. And so you can see some of that here that's still available for purchase. And the Indiegogo now, you just have to keep scrolling. Everything's at the bottom. There's only the one pinned reward on the right-hand side, which is the 4-pack plus. That's all 4 covers plus the sketchbook. And that's normally $120, but you get it for $105. So that's a good deal. There's all 4 covers you can buy just as singles. You can get combo packs like the the comic and the sketchbook, or the comic, the sketchbook, and the print, and save a little bit of money. And then there's the big Barbaric box right there that's got all 4 covers, the shot glass, the print, the sketchbook, plus the limited portfolio on that limited 5th cover. And then you keep scrolling down, and this is some of the original artwork that's available, whatever's left. There's only a few pieces left. And then you keep going down, you get your add-ons. And what I've set up here is that people can add on, if they've missed Wraith of God 1, 2, or 3, those are all available as add-ons, as well as the Kit Carter graphic novel, Garbage Man trade paperback.
Yes.
Thank you. Power Cubed
Love
trade
it.
paperback. You can get all 4 of the covers, and also the Kit Carter sketchbook if you missed that. So the trick with Indiegogo now is just keep scrolling down, because everything's just is set up vertically. But anyway, that is basically the campaign. It's if you go to Indiegogo and type in Aaron Lopresti or Barbaric Adventures, it'll take you right to the campaign. And also you can go to my website, aaronlopresti.com, and there's a link there as well. So,
or you can follow the link that I keep pasting in the chat.
There you go. Thank you, Aaron. And so we have the other thing is we're at 378 backers right now. When we get to 400, we'll be raffling off original artwork to one lucky backer. We've already done that when we were at 300. So we got 17 days left in the campaign. So get out there and back the project if you can. I don't think you'll be sorry.
Absolutely. Very cool stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you, Wes. Appreciate that.
So we are also sponsored today by another book, Unholy Nightmare number 3, and we do have a little bit of a trailer to play.
Ooh.
Previously, monsters became mankind's last line of defense, led by an ancient vampire, a fragile alliance built on distrust, a vigilante turned something darker, a cop fighting the beast within, a cursed priest bound to a demon, a child trapped in a monster's body. But now, something ancient has surfaced. The Tome of Leviathan, a book of apocalyptic power that no human can understand. Except one, Dr. Herbert West. Cold, methodical, obsessed with conquering death. First, he brought the dead back. Then, he learned to control them. Now, with the tome, he won't just raise the dead, he'll command them. Dinosaurs, corpses, monsters, everything that's ever died will fight for him. And if that wasn't enough, something inside the team is breaking. If they fail, the world won't survive.
That's a damn fine. That's a damn fine trailer, if I do say so.
I'm scared.
Cool images on there.
Well, thank you, Aaron.
I love the Reanimator. I mean, Herbert West is a really good bad guy. I mean, he's creepy. He's kind of like Gollum. He's like the negation of the negation. He's neither bad nor good. He's got his own agenda, and he's going for it. I love it.
Yeah, and you got a great lineup of covers, including Kenneth Roquefort. I know that Aurelio will be really happy, Aaron, to hear that you like the visuals, because he really spends a lot of time like just doing these amazing pages, and I know he's a fan. So your compliment will mean everything.
Yeah, well, the stuff that you're showing there was very powerful, and I love the kind of loose edginess to the artwork, and no, it was really cool.
He does a lot of really great panel breaks that I love in the book. So I mean, I would say I'm looking forward to it, but I've read it. I'm the editor on it, so I've seen it. But I can't wait for everybody else to see it.
Obviously, it's coming out in June, so get there so you can sign up and be notified as soon as it goes live.
And I will paste that in the chat as well.
So is Herbert West a Lovecraft character and then in the public domain?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Wow, that's great.
When Drew gave me the script for number 2, I told him, I said, I'm so jealous that you figured out that he was in the public domain before me. Like, this is so good.
Public domain, I can't quite figure it out because it seems like there's stuff drops into the public domain, yet somebody still owns the trademark on it, and you're always getting, you're walking a very tight line about getting sued, even if something's in the public domain and exactly how you use it. Because I know Dynamite.
When Superman comes into public domain, you will not be able to have him fly. Because when he debuted, he couldn't fly. He could just
jump, right?
Yeah. Tall buildings.
Yeah.
Give him a jetpack.
Well,
give him a jetpack.
Can you not do your own version of Superman? Or it has to be exactly what's in the public domain?
Well, it has to be what's available in public domain if you want to use Superman. But you also can't call the book Superman or Action Comics.
Right.
Because DC still owns those trademarks.
So
that's why with like Conan's technically in public domain, but when they do the Conan books in France, they're called the Sumerian because they're not associated with the Robert E. Howard estate.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. It's like we do Cull on the and the book is called the Atlantean.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
No, wait a minute. Okay, so Robert E. Howard still has an estate, so they still own trademark on that stuff, right? And yet, so then how is it in the public domain? I mean,
character Conan is
in the can't use domain. The title. Is that my understanding here?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so like with DC, when Batman goes in the public domain, you won't be able to call your book Batman.
Right.
Although he can be called Batman inside the book.
Right.
Because that is a registered trademark. You can't use any of the bat symbols that they've ever done, so you'll have to design your own bat symbol, except for that very first bat symbol.
Yeah. So if Detective 27 goes into public domain, then it would just be that the elements in that particular story that you can use, right?
Yeah.
So you could tell your own story with those characters.
Right. But the thing that comes to mind is when Dynamite was doing Princess of Mars, right? Because that went into public domain. I know that Edgar Rice Burroughs went after him and tried to sue him. I don't know how that turned out. I don't think they won, but you know what a lawyer once told me? So it doesn't matter who's right. All that matters is who has the most money.
Yes.
So I was kind of curious how they were able to go after him if they were just using the elements that were in Princess of Mars, which there's actually quite a bit of elements in there because that's the first John Carter book. So I'm always very leery because I see stuff like that and I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be cool to do my own whatever story? And you think, wouldn't that be cool to get a cease and desist letter? So I'm like, I don't know.
And then have to, and then
get a lawyer.
Basically, like they tie you up. They'll tie you up in court and bleed you dry, and it's like it's basically what Disney tried to do. What Disney always tries to do.
You can
frame it. Try to run you out of money.
Right.
You could frame it and put it next to your first rejection letter.
But yeah. Exactly.
My first C&D.
I had a whole notebook full of rejection letters. I thought I saved it. I don't know where it's at, but I should go dig that out and for a little inspiration. But yeah, I used to save all of those. I was going to show them.
Aaron, do you want to do a children's book with me called Baby's First Cease and Desist?
It's like a golden book. Baby's First NDA.
Just do it in the style. Do it in the same style as the Deadpool. Wade's first, whatever the fuck it was. They did it a number of years ago, back when Joe Casey, I think, was still.
Oh,
Joe
yeah,
Kelly
I remember
was
this.
still on it. Baby's first Deadpool book,
and
yeah, you can do that.
Or you do it in the style of like Chris Eliopoulos does Cowboy in that Calvin and Hobbes riff. Do it like that. Baby's first cease and desist.
Hmm.
This is like that. Kid. You might as well learn. You're gonna be screwed over by the legal system sooner or later.
Baby's first non-disclosure agreement. Baby's first convention table experience.
A whole series of them. Maybe we could get Charles Soule to come in and consult, on the legal end.
Oh my.
So Dylan, we got a new issue of these silent missions this week, but we also got a silent issue of G.I. Joe from Josh Williamson.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of silent issues. Did you think Zartan held up to Crimson Guard, dude?
Not as good as Crimson Guard, but I like Zartan. I thought it was good.
Thought it was way better than Baroness, but not quite as good as Crimson Guard yet.
Yeah. But that's 2 out of 3 so far. That's pretty good.
But I thought the Josh Williamson was better.
Oh well, yes. We're finally going to see him write Storm Shadow and Tom Riley drawing Storm Shadow. That was awesome. Yeah, I really like that issue.
Even Sus Gabe stopped crapping on Tom Riley's art and said it was good this week.
I don't know how you can not like Tom Riley. He's incredible.
Is Gabe a ball bag?
He is a ball bag. That was settled this week. That was amazing. That was my favorite part of the week. But I saw that guy's avatar that said Gabe H is a ball bag. I was like, yes. Nobody loves it more than Gabe. He's out there like, ball bag's a compliment in Scotland. And he's like, I suffer for all of you. And I was like, this guy wants the attention.
I mean, he's objectively wrong about Tom Riley's artwork. So,
oh yeah. Oh, I think he's wrong about ball bag being a compliment in Scotland. I think that's their way of calling you a dickhead.
Sounds like
99% sure.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh man. So you were happy with your G.I. Joe offerings this week, Dylan?
Yeah, it was a good week. I was happy.
Yeah. It's going places. I'm glad to see Storm Shadow's back.
Yeah, well, I think we only get like one more issue of him, and then he disappears again. So
no, he's not back. This is the first appearance of Storm Shadow. He has never appeared in any episode.
Prior to the other one didn't exist. Yeah.
And we memory hold Scarlet by Kelly Thompson. He really did.
I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds like nonsense, Sully.
Doesn't exist.
I don't know. Sully probably likes Scarlet since we all didn't like it. He is the resident contrarian.
I didn't. I think there was one good issue out of 5, but like I'm a sucker for it because I'm in for the rest. So I'm gonna get them all. Like I'm gonna get all the silent missions too, and I just like they're aimed at spenders like me. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It was an unnecessary story. Scarlet.
Were you a G.I. Joe guy?
Huh? Is that what directed at me?
Yeah. Were you ever a G.I. Joe guy?
No, I wasn't, because I never got into like I've never been a tech guy. I've never been like a army war comic kind of guy. I did pick up some of the Michael Golden stuff, just because it was so cool looking. But yeah, I'm from that era of Lord of the Rings, sword and sorcery. I'm very organic, so it's like you give me a barbarian or a jungle story, I feel pretty at home. But I was not.
There's G.I. Joe jungle stories.
Cobra Law turned very organic.
Yeah,
right.
And Cobra Law organically jumped the shark.
Who publishes G.I. Joe now? Who's got that?
IDW Skybound.
IDW still doing it, huh?
No. It's Image Skybound.
Image Skybound. Yeah, Image.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Like it's
really
been
good.
really, really good.
Yeah. Almost everything from Skybound right now is pretty darn good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Battle Beast was pretty awesome this week. Even their worst book, which is probably Skinbreaker, has the David Finch art, so it doesn't matter that it's kind of boring.
Yeah, it seems like it's like it's paced really slowly, but you're like you said, you're looking at the David Finch art, so you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to pick up because I'm a big David Finch fan, and that stuff looked really, really cool. But you're saying the story's a little slow.
Mm-hmm. What's
It's
the
kind
line
of the
from
same
The Hobbit?
scene over and over, so he's kind of just illustrating the same monster and the same village every single issue, instead of like they needed to go to somewhere else on the planet and have him go discover something that didn't look like the village.
It's butter scraped over too much bread. But it's David
down and use that.
But it's David Finch butter, so
right,
like,
which is the best kind of butter. It's I don't know. Is it a symptom of just, when I say modern comics, I mean maybe in the last 25 years, this just sort of just expanded storytelling. What's the phrase I'm looking for, Sparrow? Not
well, we
decompressed.
call it writing for the
thank you,
trade,
decompressed. That's it, Wes. Decompressed storytelling that we're still seeing and have not got out of that mode yet. It just, I mean, I hate to sound like an old guy, but some of them, I remember a couple issues of Avengers, like back in the 70s, where who do they fight? The Avengers were fighting some, not Graviton. Who is that? The other guy that looked like him, that the gray guy with or had little gray hair and the mustache, the goatee, and Count Nefaria or whatever. I think that's who it was. So he was super powerful. He beat the crap out of the Avengers. Then Thor and Division showed up, spoiler, and saved the day at the end of the story. And I remember as a kid, that was one of my favorite story arcs. But then, you know, as an adult, I look back on that and go, yeah, that was like a 4-issue, you know, it was just jam-packed. And it's 2 issues, you know, but they just packed everything in there and it just moved. And then they told the story and then got out, you know, and it's like, where is that?
Yeah, Days of Future Past would be a 6-issue mini nowadays.
Yeah, with 50 different books crossing over into it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
so it's the one issue that it is that's absolutely brilliant.
2,
unfortunately.
2 issues.
I've seen some crowdfunded books that I won't mention any names because they're people I know and people I actually admire their work, but artists anyway. That, you know, you read it and you're like, okay, this was, you know, 30 some pages, 48 pages. And you feel like I didn't even, this story has progressed so little that, you know, and then you don't know, especially with crowdfunding, if you're ever going to see a second issue, right? And so I don't understand, people don't understand that concept of telling a story, getting it to its nuts and bolts and getting as much in there as you can, and moving it along. Because it just, I think it, you know, I wonder if it's influx of, you know, writers that are trying to get TV shows and things like that. So they just write this
the Netflix effect.
Yeah.
All streaming shows are like 10-hour movies that are just really bloated.
Right. Exactly. And you see that. You see
every episode or every issue needs to have a resolved conflict, even if it's part of a bigger story.
Yeah, the worst you should do is a 2-parter, you know, and then have that wrapped up. You use your soap opera, if you will, your characterization stuff going on in the background for 7 or 8 pages an issue to keep people coming back. You know, how are things working out between Peter and Gwen or Peter and MJ? But then you've got Green Goblin for 2 issues, and you move on to the Molten Man or whatever, and so you have these 2 different things going on. But the action keeps moving, and then you draw out the soap opera stuff, which I think, you know, Chris Claremont did a great job of that with X-Men back in the day, where I think that's why people bought X-Men, right? It's because they wanted to find out what was going on with Rogue or you know, any given romance that was going on in the background. But then you got these great villains and these huge storylines, sometimes cosmic storylines, and we just don't see that anymore. It just it's annoying.
I agree.
Blame Bendis, right?
He'd be one of them.
You'd be one of them.
I mean, you know, we're trying to bring it back. We're trying to bring back traditional storytelling. I love the long form, like Claremont style, where it's like, here's the adventure, and it takes, you know, 2-3 issues, but you know, the threads of all the character pieces are weaving out and continuing on, and then you'll get like a subplot, and you're like, well, he's not paying that off for 3 years. You know?
Yeah,
it's like, you know, oh, there's a space shark that Alex and Lorna discovered. We'll see you in 2 years to pick up that storyline. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, everything was moving. You know what I mean? It wasn't people standing around talking, contemplating what they were going to do next. They were doing stuff, and they were going someplace, or they were, you know, fighting somebody and accomplishing something. And it's just this boring, drawn out.
Hey, now they all need to. Now the fight actually happens off panel.
Yeah.
They talk about the fight.
Yeah.
And they jump to the after the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Because.
Doc,
primarily because none of the fucking artists know how to draw a fight anymore.
No.
Doc, characters need their feelings validated. It's not about the fight.
I know.
It's about how they feel about the fight. So that's what we got to spend the time on.
That's right.
Let's see.
You guys reading Jim Zub's Conan?
Absolutely.
That's good stuff.
That's a great book.
Really good stuff.
And that art
My
by
book of the year.
that art by is it
Della Torre.
Della Torre.
Yeah.
It's funny. He was on Ms. Marvel before I took over Ms. Marvel, and his stuff didn't look anything like that. And now he's got this really cool Buscema riff going on that just I love that. Those are good looking books, and they're also good reads.
Yeah, they got a new artist on there now. I'm forgetting his name, but yeah, he's doing a good job. Let's see for the peoples. We got Callum. Invincible was insane, and they got Megatron Frank Welker, so they knew what they were doing casting Peter Cullen. I'm assuming this is the cartoon, Doc.
Yes, this is a cartoon.
So. Yeah.
Was it insane?
I mean, it was.
I thought you guys said the animation sucked.
The animation is getting progressively worse on that show because Robert Kirkman and Seth Rogen just want to give money to their Hollywood buddies to voice people that no one gives a fuck who voices.
Well, they got Peter Cullen this week. It's good times.
Okay, yeah. I mean, look, they did that was the whole thing. They did the Megatron and Optimus Prime pre-Cybertron War. That's the whole premise. It's the exact same premise as Thaddeus and Throg I don't know.
Well, at least they're
the fucking Emperor.
At least they're bringing in some actual voice actors instead of just star effing.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully they're not star fucking anymore. Well, no, they're still doing that, but they're also bringing in. But honestly, Peter Cullen and the dude that did Megatron,
Frank Welker.
Yeah. I can't remember his fucking name.
That's Freddie Jones right there. You don't wait.
I just have to do
just the guy that did Megatron.
That's Freddie Jones. That's not just Megatron. God.
Regardless,
you fail me, Doc. That's what Megatron would say.
Yes, exactly. He probably would, and I would have failed him.
British actor.
No, I mean,
Jones?
They're
Jones.
They're.
Oh.
I don't know if I think that those guys are folks that have kind of transcended voice actor.
Okay.
They're almost the voice of, like, that's the only Optimus Prime. That is the only Megatron.
Right.
They are those people at this point. So
next up, we got Federico De La Casa. Hey guys, shout out to Mr. Lopresti.
Thank you.
Still have his Sludge comics.
Wow.
Someone suggested that Skybound could take over Marvel after these layoffs.
not going to happen.
No.
Disney's going to want too much money.
I think eventually Marvel will be licensed out, but it's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah,
but Sludge is way better than anything Marvel's doing these days anyway, Mr. Plesky. He's still got your books.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And everybody always is hopeful that the Malibu stuff's going to get resurrected, and it's not going to happen because of there's certain obligations tied into the contract of using those characters that they don't want to deal with. And
yeah, Marvel wouldn't just be able to completely hose you over, and they're not going to deal with that.
No, and it's funny. It's not the creators that are the major problem, but I'm not at liberty to discuss.
We got an NDA, yeah, okay.
But there's other factors involved. I mean, it does involve money, but it's who it's going to as opposed to the creators. So that's kind of why it's buried. At least that's my understanding, and so I wouldn't expect that to ever change, unfortunately. Because it's dumb to, the reason that Marvel bought Malibu was simply to keep DC from getting it. So DC and Malibu were in talks, and DC actually wanted to use the characters and integrate them into the DCU, and Marvel didn't want DC to own the characters, kind of to one up them, and so they came in over the top with a higher bid. So of course Malibu had to take the higher bid, and then they just killed them, killed the whole line. But just to keep DC from getting it. I mean, that's
my understanding, and you as somebody that was there probably definitely understand this better. My understanding was most of the reason that it was bought was for the coloring.
That's not true.
The digital coloring. Okay, all right. I know because I know that's why they bought Wildstorm.
That's not that was a side benefit, but it was really my understanding from the inside sources that I have was that they just didn't want DC to have it.
Well, that sounds very Marvel-esque.
Yeah, so
especially 90s Marvel-esque.
Yeah, they kept it going for a little bit with that. They had some crossover, where George Perez worked on it.
Exiles.
Now the what was it that Sparrow? Do you remember?
They had the new Exiles with the X-Men crossing over with the Exiles, and it was the Phoenix stuff over in the Malibu universe.
Yeah.
Juggernaut was involved.
Yeah, and they had Thor was involved with something. God, I can't remember what they called that. But then after that,
Godwheel.
Everything just died after that, and it was shelved. So it is unfortunate because there was some like any company like that. There's some good IPs and some bad ones, but there was some good ones in there that and there was a pretty loyal fan base to the Malibu stuff.
How difficult would it be to get the rights to Sludge? It's like they're not using it anyway. It's not like they want it.
Oh, I can't imagine that they would. They protect that stuff. Like when I did, when I went over to DC to do Wonder Woman, one of the things I talked to Dan DiDio about was, I wanted to do some more writing, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't care, sure." And so then he threw at me. He said, "Hey, we need a monster book to replace Swamp Thing," because Swamp Thing was at Vertigo at the time, and Vertigo would not give it back to the DCU. They were keeping it. And so I came up with Garbage Man, and Kevin Maguire did, he did some space chick that was in there as well. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But anyway, we did these, it ended up in an anthology book, and Kevin was like, "God, man, I really wish we could get the rights back to our characters." And I was just like, "They're never going to give us the rights back. They're never going to do it." But then Dan turned around and shocked us all and said, "You know what? We're not using these here. You can have them." That never happens. I mean, they never. So I have the IP. I have Garbage Man back, and Kevin's got his
Space Chick.
Yeah. Doggone, I wish. But anyway, but that's just like never happens. I was floored, but I had a really good relationship with Dan, and they were able to get Swamp Thing back from Vertigo, so they didn't need Garbage Man. I mean, they did that before I even finished Garbage Man, so it was kind of like it was an obsolete thing before I even finished it. And all they had to do was once a year use the character in something, and they could get this, re-up the rights to it, because it was like the way it was creator owned, but they licensed it forever. Basically, they gave us a couple of grand or whatever and said, "Okay, so now we license this forever, and all we have to do is use the character." It was maybe once every 3 years. It was really, and they could have easily kept those IPs just in case, took them in their back pocket, because you never know, right? But he gave them back to us, which just shocked me. But so I don't expect, that they would ever, I could go in there and go, "Hey, can I license Sludge from you?" And because again, it's tied up with, incentives and royalties to other people that they're not going to want to pay.
Galb says Godzilla looks ripped in -0 trailer, but his roar is too loud, so Eric's out.
I saw an image this week of Kong and Godzilla holding guns.
Ooh.
And I was like, Godzilla had a big Godzilla gun that has like his signs on it. And I was like, what are we doing? And I showed it to Maria. I said, "What do you think of this?" And she goes, "That's stupid." And then she goes, "But I'm okay with Kong having a gun."
Exactly. The rule of cool is
he already had
that's pretty dope.
The rule of cool is undefeated. He did have like the robot hand last movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
That was
good
like
with
the
it.
Infinity Gauntlet, right? Kong had the Infinity
Yeah.
Gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to Godzilla and Kong walking around with guns. It kind of sounds
Oh,
good.
I think Marie's stance was that Godzilla needs no gun. You know,
Godzilla
should
is
just be
the
like,
gun.
This is
Yeah.
the weapon of the enemy. We
He
do
does
not
have the
use it. We
nuclear
do not
breath.
need it.
Uh,
Yeah, he needs bandoliers as well and sunglasses.
And a big
Yeah.
sombrero. If you're gonna give him bandoliers,
Yes.
give him the serape. Let's just let's make him super cool.
Dylan, did you see this -0 trailer?
Yes, yeah, because this is the sequel to -1, which is a different universe than the Legendary ones, which is where all the goofy stuff happens. And it
Is he
looks
really
good.
ripped? It was like, you have a 6-pack or something?
No, he's just he's a bit bigger now. He's a bit because the first one, -1, was really good. If you guys haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's all in Japanese, but it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah. And this one we see he looks a bit more like the Legendary Godzilla now.
What I like is when he did the Godzilla guns. He did the Henry Cavill reloading the. No, that didn't happen, but I wish it did. In my imagination, it did.
the TV show with Kurt Russell that ties into the Legendary stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, but
The
I hear
Monarch
don't watch the second season because it becomes all about the ladies. Woo!
Oh, Lord,
Yeah,
well, it was
girls get
leaning
stuff
that
done.
direction in the first season.
That makes sense. Matt Fraction's behind that show. So, and Calb says, Dylan, you know about the Ong movie leak? Evil laugh. It's long-awaited karma.
Oh my goodness, it's Aang. You pronounced it like they did in the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
He also
Which is
called you
hilarious.
Dylan.
Hilarious. Well, yeah, I get that bit, but Aang is like, it's hilarious because they're adapting a cartoon, so you know how to pronounce it, and they pronounced it wrong in the live action movie. It's like it's not up to interpretation. We have 3 seasons.
I don't know if you
but
guys know this, but M. Night Shyamalan just didn't care.
But yes, I saw about the leak. It got I think someone just emailed it out and it got leaked. So Avatar: Last Airbender, the cartoons, great show. They're finally doing movies for it, and it was supposed to come out in theaters, and then they said no, we're going to do Paramount Plus, and it's supposed to be coming out like 6 months from now or something like that, sometime later this year. And it just leaked like the entire thing, and it's so easy to find. You can go watch it anywhere, and it's hilarious. And he's saying it's long-awaited karma because they replaced all the voice actors from the original show, because it's Avatar: Last Airbender takes place in a fictional universe, but it's like inspired by different cultures and stuff. So it's like we can't have white people voicing these characters. Like one of the characters is a little blind girl, and they had to get a blind voice actress to voice her. They got an Asian.
Why? Are
blind
you
lady.
kidding me?
Because
No,
that's
kidding
important.
me?
That's important. You have to have that to voice. And the thing that's really sad about it is a lot of the people that voice the characters in the original show, they're all great, but they mainly do the con circuit now. They don't get a whole lot of work now. And it would have been so great to reward them with this, to bring them back for this, to give them work. And they would do a great job. It's not like they're bad or anything. Like, they're great. It's just sad that they don't get a whole lot of work now. And it would have been so cool. And all of them basically have said in public they would have loved to come back, but they all got replaced. They didn't get a thank you for everything or anything, get more work. No, they got kicked to the curb for people.
Dab
that were
your
never
eyes out
involved
if you
in the
want this
original show.
blind role.
Yeah, it's sad.
So stupid. It's like, okay, we have to do all the scripts in Braille now. Added expense.
Can you imagine if the character was a minority, blind, and handicapped? It was like, where would they'd really have to search to find an actor.
Who were they going to get to play Helen Keller?
Difficult. Gal says, well, Presty, Aaron, would you still draw Wonder Woman, or would it depend on pay and story, but never work with Tom Keene or any of those feminist Karens?
Well, then how could I work on Wonder Woman?
Yeah, you got a point. Gee.
I never liked Wonder Woman. I just took it because it seemed like it was pretty high profile, and I got talked into it. I was supposed to do Power Girl, the Power Girl series, the Paul Miotti Power Girl series, and they switched me over to Wonder Woman. And at the time, I was like, it sounds like a good idea. And I know I had decent fun working on the character. I just was completely unfamiliar with the character at all. So I was just like, digging up reference and trying to figure out stuff so I wasn't a huge Wonder Woman fan, but yeah, it would depend on pay, definitely, and story. They would never hire me anyway, but but the story part kind of ties in with the Tom King or any feminist Karen, right? So it's like, if those guys are working, if those people are working on the book, then it's probably not something I'd want to draw.
Wasn't James Robinson doing Wonder Woman during the Rebirth?
James Robinson?
During Rebirth? I thought Rucka came back for Rebirth.
Ah, you know what? You were right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember Rucka got Frank Cho fired.
I think Robinson might come in at the end of that run. I believe Rucka started it, and then Robinson came in at the end.
Yeah.
Speaking of Robinson, Firearm was one of my favorite Ultraverse books.
Good old James Robinson. Didn't he go into like TV or movies or something?
Yeah, he's much more successful than comics now.
Average Worm says, I just backed Barbaric. For anyone who hasn't backed one of Aaron's books before, he always delivers super high quality books on time when he will.
He doesn't do.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much.
Let's throw that link in the chat again. Bam.
Man, can you confirm that one, Sully? I know that you got your Kit Carter shirt. I'm assuming that you got a book with it.
I did. It's a beautiful book and nice binding, nice, a little oversized. So it has this kind of like European bande dessinée kind of, thing going for it. Beautiful protagonist, talking monkey, just like really nice Silver Age space adventures. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a great book. This is Kit Carter. She's an eyeful.
You even got the shirt too. Someone in the chat was asking about the Keone werewolf shirt that I released with the very first Wraith of God campaign, because he said his son wore it out. And you can contact me just at aaron@aaronlopresti.com. And I've got extra. I don't know what size you need because I don't have too many smalls, but I do have several of those left over.
Sully looks like a small, except for the belly.
Sully needs an extra small. Yeah. He's been eating nothing but bacon, so he's slimming down.
That sounds like me.
I hear a mother joke coming.
Actually, Aaron, bring one of those. I'd like you to bring one of those werewolf shirts to San Diego for me, since Matt Moylan snagged the last one when I was there.
Oh, that's right. What size do you need?
XL.
Okay.
So, Aaron,
remind me as we get closer.
Yeah, I'll remind you. I'll pester you.
Lopresti, I heard a story recently from Sparrow about the first time he met you. I want to know if this is true. He said he walks into San Diego Comic-Con, he sees a booth, there's all this Aaron Lopresti art, and he went up and goes, "Gee, sir, how did you get your hands on all this Aaron Lopresti art?" And you said, "Because I'm fucking Aaron Lopresti."
Well, he didn't drop the F-bomb, and I didn't say that he did.
I did. I said, well, because I'm Aaron Lopresti, and yeah, that's true.
And then I was like, "Oh boy, Mr. Lopresti, I sure do enjoy sludge."
I thought, what a dope. And then later, we were friends, 30 years later, 20 years, whatever it was. It's been a while.
It was only the second convention I'd ever been to, and I didn't. I'd never been to one of San Diego.
How'd you get your hands on all this Cracker Jack Aaron Lopresti art?
Yeah,
I drew it. Maybe I don't know.
I just didn't expect, because in my head, Aaron Lopresti the artist would never be here. He's busy sitting on a throne of money and drawing beautiful things.
Yeah. I couldn't keep the illusion up, but they had hair back then, and it was brown. It wasn't gray. So yeah, it was.
I'm so happy that you were nice to him, because I would have went, full West mode. I've been like, "Listen, dumbass, these are my pages. What are you doing here?"
I kind of crawled into the industry and slowly up a hill. So I never had that big moment where I could ever get too fond of myself, because I was always struggling. So I was very, I tried to be nice to the young folk, even if they're confused.
Well, I remember because I had my baby brother with me, and he wasn't a baby at the time, but we both followed that up with, you were like, "I'm Aaron Lopresti," and then I was like, "Oh my god, I've loved your art, since I was reading Formish Man in the back of What If," and you were like, "Oh my god, you read that?" You were like, I think you said nobody's ever mentioned Formish Man to me.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one who read that. That was a good gig, because that was the tail end of the royalty boom, and when everything was just going nuts in the 90s. And I came in just at the tail end of that. So I never really reap the benefits. But the cool thing about What Though was, because it was an anthology book, they paid rate and a half rather than royalties because they didn't want to, there was too many people working on it to divide up the royalties. Mm-hmm. So I was writing, penciling, and inking those Forbish Man stories. So I was getting rate and a half as a writer, a penciler, and an inker every story. So I was making actually pretty decent money doing those. They were only 8 pages, so it wasn't like, but I remember I was working commercial art at the time and trying to break into comics. So I would work on those Forbish Man stuff while I was doing the commercial art stuff. And I was like, every time I talked to Renee Witterstatter, who was the artist, into letting me do one, I was like, cha-ching, there's a, decent page.
Did you like do a slow spin and like these are the days as money just like
as the hundreds of dollars were falling on me.
Yes, this gravy train will never end.
Well, it's funny. I talked about his comic book origin story this week, and you were a big part of it. Let's put it that way.
Oh well, I'm glad that I'm in somebody's origin story.
Well, it's like you're to blame. A lot of people will now take that. It's like, oh
yeah, well, that's true. I set young Aaron Sparrow on his path.
We've got HH and the fam over at Sigma Comics. Shout out to the Thinking Critical team. Comic-Con New York City, BookCon New York City. Calico Unwanted Men hits Kickstarter May 1st. The vigilante Pigbat is taking out dirty cops. Check your comments for Kickstarter. Very, very cool.
So is HH coming back on the show? Is that what I'm hearing, HH? You going to come on and talk about it? Come on.
We will have he is sponsoring the May 2nd show. We will be showing a bunch of the stuff from the book. But we will also get HH back on the show again pretty soon. But he is out on the con circuit, so we got to find a good weekend for him. But love HH and the guys over at Sigma Comics. Congratulations, dude. I hope you're enjoying New York City. I know you're probably happy not to have to travel too far. Wraith X7. The X-Men was ruined over the course of 3 separate runs. The Morrison run, the Bendis run, and then Hickman's run.
All you Morrison haters out there. Oh, my gosh.
I don't think that the Morrison run ruined it. I think the Morrison run took it. It was the start, but like it could have recovered.
In the words of William Shatner, get a life. I'm just kidding. No.
The bleeding the bleeding was not fatal.
I love that Morrison run, dude. Doc and I can.
Aaron,
we need our own
Aaron
show.
came on right after Morrison's run because he had to pick up the pieces of Dead Magneto over in.
Did that?
Who are you working with on that one?
That was Claremont
the Chuck
on Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but
okay.
I was supposed to be the next X-Men artist after was Morrison. That was the Black Leather run, right?
Yeah. He had Jimenez on his last run.
Yeah, I did like 3 fill-in issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I also did an Ultimate X-Men thing through Wizard. And so the 2 guys, Powers and Pete Franco, that were editing, I remember Pete Franco calling me up and going, Aaron, we really like what you're doing. We're going to make you you're going to be the new regular artist on the book. You're going to be the next X-Men superstar. And I'm just like, I hung up the phone. I went to my wife and going, finally, I've made it, blah, blah, blah. And they got fired a week later. And off the cross, Jen. So, so close. So close. And then Aaron Sparrow could have come up to me at a con and said, where did you get all this Aaron Lopresti X-Men art?
I should have just kept it going. I should have come up every year and pretended not to recognize it.
Yes, exactly. Well, about the 3rd time, I would have been like diving over the destroying.
I'm a huge admirer of this Aaron Lopresti guy.
Is he around here?
How did
you're like, I'm Aaron Lopresti, and I like look you up and down, and I'm like, no, it can't be.
No, you're not. I know Aaron Lopresti, and you, sir, are no Aaron Lopresti.
I had somebody once telling me about what a dick that Bobby Chase guy was. The whole time I was like, I don't think you've ever met Bobby Chase.
You know, Bobby Chase actually returned my phone call when I was like, back in the day before the internet, we would call Marvel and like leave messages and stuff. And hey, have you looked at my samples yet? And she actually called me back, so I give her credit for that.
That's a huge loss when they laid her off. Nerd says, don't forget to check your Patreon DMs. I have checked it. In fact, I sent one of the things that you did over to Sully, and he can confirm that, and he liked it, right, Sully?
Which one was that again?
The shirt design.
Oh, the shirt design, that was really nice. Yeah. The comics, you messed with the comics.
No spoiler, dude.
Oh, okay. See?
Yeah, I mean, I did check it. I sent it over to Sully just, because I know he likes t-shirts and stuff like that. And I will get back to you tomorrow. But it's been a busy end of the week, unfortunately. But I have not forgotten you, and I did not dismiss that at all.
You'll be pleased.
And then we got Callum Dylan. I've seen the leaked movie. It's meh. Visually, it's stunning, but it felt like a home video film, and some of the dialogue is preachy, and it's written by the same Korra writers.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't watched it. I'm going to. I just don't have time yet. And I've heard it's not very good, but it's from the same people that did Legend of Korra, and some of the best writers, like Aaron E. has from the original show, didn't write anything for Korra, and they didn't bring him back for this either, which is disappointing. So it doesn't sound too good. Doesn't get me too excited, but I'll check it out eventually.
Is the Legend of Korra good?
It's okay. It pales in comparison because the original show is really good, and then the sequel show has its moments, but I'd say it's okay. I don't hate it as much as some people, but also there's some people that love it. It's just the original show is so good.
Yeah, I think I told you this. The only time I had all these army guys were telling me I need to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender when I was in Afghanistan. I was able to get a copy of the movie, and I went to watch the film, and I got 30 minutes into it. I was like, what the hell are these guys talking about? So I'm like allergic to Avatar: The Last Airbender after that.
Well, that's the problem. You watch the M. Night Shyamalan movie. You gotta watch the
animated
cartoon. The show
great.
it's really good.
Yep.
I can't imagine anything good inspiring the bit of that movie that I saw.
Correct.
It was so bad.
I mean, that's like watching Batman and Robin be like, oh, everything involving these two guys has got to suck because this movie's so bad.
Yeah, that was the fourth
retarded
movie. So you had Batman 1989. Batman Returns is still weird, but kind of decent. Even Batman Forever is kind of good. So I
like Batman Returns. I like Batman Returns better than the first Batman, even though I like Jack Nicholson's Joker better than.
Well, Batman Returns, if they had just got rid of the Penguin and Max Schreck and just done a Catwoman, that Catwoman part of that movie is fantastic.
Oh, come on. You don't like Max Schreck?
I just thought the Catwoman stuff, the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle, then the Batman and Catwoman stuff was really great. And every time they brought in Danny DeVito, I was like, can we get back to the Catwoman stuff?
Michelle Pfeiffer was pretty good in Patent Leather.
Mm.
Yeah.
She really learned how to use that whip, man. She can still do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the original Batman was better than Batman Returns. I think
definitely.
The origins of Penguin being like he was raided by penguins and ate penguin food.
Oh, it's
Catwoman falling out of a thing and having 9 lives.
It's very ridiculous, but
very Tim Burton.
You know what I think it is? I think it's just the fact that like I liked the action more, and the fact that Michael Keaton actually fit into that bat suit.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look like he was wearing his dad's like mask. Because that first suit, like the second one's like they laser scanned it and they got it like really to fit his face, and he looks really great in it. And I like the Art Deco kind of like, I like the kind of like tech chest more than I like the molded rubber. I think now that I think about it, I like the first movie more. I just like Batman more in the second one. I like his whole look better.
That's a good thing that you came over to the side of common sense there, dude.
Yeah.
Now, if we can only talk Sully into liking Jurassic Park.
I'll meet you halfway. I like that first Jurassic World movie there.
That's not meeting us halfway.
And that's just Jurassic Park, but not as good. I don't understand it.
It's like Jurassic Park, but like it's been hit in the head. It's like it's dumber.
Okay, then Bryce Dallas Howard's got a nicer booty than Laura Dern. I'm sorry.
I like Bryce Dallas Howard a lot.
Yeah, especially in that movie.
She's actually really talented. It runs in the family, I heard.
But Jurassic Park's a better film.
I respect Jurassic Park. I do.
Jurassic Park is overrated. I don't know
what,
but you gotta
vindicated.
Dude, no,
you're not vindicated because, Aaron, let me ask you this: when you watch Jurassic World, do you go, "This is a better Jurassic Park"?
No, Jurassic Park is the superior film out of all of them by a mile. I'm just saying. get those freaking kids out of the movie, or at least don't let them do anything, because all they're doing is annoying me. I mean, that little girl goes, "Oh, I can run this computer complex." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you freaking kidding
She's
me?"
You know what I love most? You know what I love most about that scene is the fact that the whole time Tim is over her shoulder going, go faster, instead of picking up the damn shotgun and handing it to Alan so he can blow the raptor away.
I just felt like that, and I'm a huge Spielberg fan, but Jurassic Park had a little bit too much of old Spielberg in it, with the kids and the
How can you have too much old Spielberg? That's the best Spielberg.
Yeah, that is.
Well, no, Jaws is, of course, the greatest film he ever made, and Raiders is, of course, right up there. But that sort of E.T. kind of kiddie kind of thing, it was like this. I felt like Jurassic Park needed a bit more of an edge to it. I mean, there was moments, but I look at. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I still think it's a really good movie, but I do think it's a little overrated just because I think it's a little too.
I think the kids are in the book, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're not that annoying in the book. They're better. Everybody is better in the book.
Well, it's okay that he brought the kids.
It's
It's just the role that they had. That whole computer thing just drove me nuts. Maybe that's what's bugging me.
Well, in the book, it's Tim, but they were like, "Oh, we need something for the girl to do," so they switched it in the movie. It's like
they've already been electrocuted.
Jurassic Park is where you begin to see like where Spielberg will eventually fall, which is by the time he gets to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and he's like, it's like knowledge was their treasure, and you're like, oh, shut up, you schmaltzy old geezer.
Then Calb says, I think it's obvious that the writers of Daredevil Born Again hate their jobs. I thought Born Again was getting better, Dylan.
I haven't watched it. I watched the first season.
Yeah.
Once it's all out, I'll watch it. But
it was Josh who assured us that it would be better after the season.
Yeah.
No, last week, Kurt said it was getting better.
Did he say that?
Maybe this is the same as like when Sully says a book's not bad. Maybe that's what this is. Like, it's getting better.
You're just jealous. I have just diverse tastes.
This one really made me want to drink bleach instead of pouring it.
I haven't gotten to watch it. I didn't really plan on watching it because I didn't like the first season.
The first season was really bad. That's why I was like, I can wait. I don't need to like, oh man, new episode. I gotta watch it now. I was like, I'll just wait.
I don't want my memories of the Netflix show ruined, so I have not. Like, I watched the first episode of the first season of Born Again, and I was like, nope, I'm out.
Understandable.
Let's stick, yeah. The nerd says the Legend of Korra boils me. It breaks nearly every aspect of canon from the original show, complete with girl boss Mary Sue.
It's true. My daughter loves the Korra show, but
It does break a lot of lore stuff that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I feel like Korra didn't really get to girl boss till like the last season. Like she fucks up a lot. Like she's constantly messed up. Like, and she ends up breaking everything at the end. Like part of why it's called avatars, because you can access your past lives, like they get reincarnated, and she completely breaks that to where there's no more past lives anymore. So the next avatar has just Korra to reference. So she completely destroyed that, like going back like thousands of years. And she messed that up. But yeah, Korra doesn't even compare to the original show.
Then he said the writers must be part of Lucasfilm now. Maybe.
Boy, that Mandalorian film looks like it's going to set the world on fire.
Yeah, just waiting for the Starfighter, dude. That's going to be dope.
It kills me how it looks the exact same as the show. Like generally when you do these like TVs to movies, you can see like a budget jump. It looks the exact as the show, the same.
And the plot
looks like
is not interesting.
It looks like it's going to set the world on fire in the same way that me at XFest in 1999 started setting chairs on fire because Everclear was playing.
I love Everclear. I don't even have daddy issues and I love Everclear. No, they're good.
They especially suck live.
I thought maybe if you were talking about The Offspring or something, but Everclear's a good band.
The Offspring had better albums than Everclear did.
No, get out of here. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
No, that's not crazy.
Offspring are still releasing better albums than everything that Everclear has ever done.
Today on Grunge Aficionados.
Look, all we're saying is that Wes will buy you a garden where your flowers can bloom.
come on. We all know Dave Grohl's a better drummer than he is a lead singer. Come on.
No, I like
You
Foo
think-
Fighters a lot more than I like.
You think Dave Grohl is in
Nirvana.
Everclear, Sully?
No, I'm just like grunge aficionados. I was just going with it,
No, I think Foo Fighters are better than Nirvana. One of the Sully like takes that I have that people don't agree
Wow,
with.
gauntlet thrown.
Yeah. Then RDV says, Aaron Sparrow, which kids are more annoying? The Jurassic Park kids or those damn kids from DC House of Mystery that never die?
I think the most annoying kids in the world are the Goonies.
Yes.
I can't
Oh,
get
come on.
Yes.
into that film.
Yes.
God, I hate that movie.
So do I. That is like the, oh my gosh. It was like, I went and saw that when it came out. And I felt like I was paying someone to babysit a bunch of brats for 2 hours. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Aaron's of the world unite.
Although the best movie with kids is Monster Squad.
Yes.
Monster
keep
Squad's
hearing
good.
that,
I
but I
think
haven't
Wolf Sandlot's better.
Wolfman's got nards.
So we all learned that.
Yeah.
Wes, you're
But
just
no,
over there
Sandlot's
having a
better.
breakdown. So first my Jurassic Park comment. Now you telling me you're one of those Goonies
No,
guys?
you ended up acknowledging that Jurassic Park's a great movie. You just don't think it's as good as everyone says it is. So that's a great thing. But saying the Goonies sucks and that you saw it like in theater, like what were you, like 19 years old?
Yeah, I was 19 years old. And I
Oh,
was like,
that's why you didn't like it. You were too old.
yeah, well, okay. But that's what I mean. I'm sitting there going, these bratty kids were screaming the whole
You're
time.
sitting there
and
like
driving me
coughing,
nuts.
opening up a fucking big mouth, like having some Budweiser in there, not enjoying Goonies.
See, now I didn't see it till I was an adult. See, Aaron saw it when he was still relatively young.
Well, I was
I
a young
saw it-
adult. But
You were a young adult, but I saw it like now, like I got, what was it, like a year ago? So like, yeah, it's like, and I was like, I
You
can't
didn't
stand
finish the
this.
movie, so
I hate all of them. Yeah, I got to where like they kind of showed Sloth, and I was like, I hate everybody in this movie, and I want everybody dead, except for Short Round. Short Round, I want to make it out.
there you go.
Because he's got to make his way to Asia and go be Indiana Jones's.
That's right.
No,
Sidekick.
Goonies is a
Sidekick.
great movie. Fantastic.
Goonies may never say die, but I want them all to.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm with you.
All right. Well, I guess we did have some big news happening this week that we should
did.
definitely get to. There were some big layoffs at Disney, across the empire that they have, but a lot of them hitting Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics. David Gabriel, who's been the marketing guy for Marvel for years now, is out. 3 of their editors are out. The communications person's out. I've heard some assistant editors are gone. There might be a couple of bigger names out there. I know, Doc, you have been not the world's biggest fan of David Gabriel for many years now. What did you think about these layoffs?
Unfortunately, here's the problem, and it's going to come back to the same thing that I've said. Well, about everybody in marketing and comics. If they were any good at their job, they wouldn't be in comics. They'd be making money in a field that actually makes money. It's why Daniel Cherry got the gig over at DC, because he fucking sucked everywhere else. He just happened to work for big brands. Everybody can fail everywhere and then fail their way into success, a success position in comic books. Sorry. I love the medium. It is not exactly a magic money printing machine. So you're not going to get anybody better than David Gabriel to replace him. But at the same time, maybe we're going to get somebody else who has an idea that's different than David Gabriel's, because David Gabriel's idea was variants and 40,000 different ways to prepare variants. It's like that guy that's really, really obsessed with eggs and wants to put that as a chef, and then just figures out 500 different ways to sell you eggs, different ways to prepare them. That's David Gabriel. His only idea in marketing was variant comics, variant covers. And he just found every conceivable way to prepare variant comics for you. Now we're at gambling variant comics. So the only thing we're left is scratch off ticket variants, where you actually have to scratch off some of that silver shit on the cover to see what cover you actually got.
That's gonna happen. You're gonna have to rub a
Oh,
quarter, and it's gonna destroy your comic, assuming that it didn't come in the blind bag and be damaged already. But you're gonna have to rub the quarter
100%.
across to see what cover you got.
Yes, and you're gonna ruin your own comic, so that they don't even want to take the time to ruin your comic for you. Your blind bag now.
That's right.
So
they charge more if they have to ruin it for you.
yeah, when they have to break it. But if they don't have to put it in the bag, then they don't have to ruin it for you. And then you can just ruin your own comic. But no, look, none of the people that are actually responsible, other than David Gabriel, for the current condition of Marvel Comics left.
No, yeah. Well,
right.
it's never the people that
Right.
cause all
No.
the damage that get held accountable, because otherwise we would have, like I said with Wes when we did the show on this topic, it's never the executives that make the poor decisions that lose the money that get held responsible. It's always, well, we need to fire all these rank and file people. When Bob Iger and Kevin Feige and all the bigwigs at Marvel lose a shit ton of money, where do they make the cuts? Well, we need to fire people at the parks. Well, those people at the parks, those cast members had nothing to do with all the money you lost. But they're the ones that always, it's always the rank and file.
They're the ones that pay the price. Yeah, but and you know what? There is something to be said about, these were an initial round of layoffs. You may still have those executive level or VP and up kind of level. So a Tom Brevoort, CB Sobolski, those guys, they do get let's just say, they get a little bit of a golden parachute on their way out. So they have to kind of negotiate their departure. It's rare that they get just straight fired. Like that kind of a role. If you're bad at your job, you don't get straight fired. You negotiate your departure, and then it may be a couple of weeks before that announcement is made. They don't get added in with, but then again, they did add David Gabriel in there. So I don't know. Because it may be that, CB Sobolski, Tom Brevoort, and a couple others might be on their way out the door as well. They just have to, because they have tenure and because they have, because of the level of their position, there's a little bit more contractually. Yeah. Likely those guys are contract. They're on a actual employment contract.
Right.
With the company. So they may have to negotiate the departure there. And we might see about that in a couple of weeks.
Well, with Marvel, what we really need is all new, all different editorial. That's what we need.
Hey, no. Hold on. Yeah. We can't do that. They already replaced all the white guys with lesbians and black dudes a while ago.
Oh, shucks.
I don't think they hired any black dudes.
Oh no, they didn't. No, you're right. They didn't. Actually, you know what?
Because that's still men. That's still men.
Yes,
you still have some, and remember they're terrified of masculinity. So you're not going to hire any masculine black dudes that are come in and go hey, let's make Luke Cage tough again. Let's do a Blade. Let's do a Blade comic where he isn't wearing a Cosby sweater and having conversations in a cheesecake shop with his daughter.
Let's make Bishop swole again.
That's a good idea.
It is funny whenever they do these layoffs and stuff, they don't ever seem to take it from a creative aspect. It's always, okay, where can we cut? What's the easiest way to cut some costs? And so you saw the editors that got let go were guys that have been there 13 years or 10 years. So, they're probably making pretty decent money editorially speaking. And so they're just like, oh, we can get rid of him. We can get rid of him. But they're not making creative decisions like, okay, these books aren't selling well. We need to replace people that maybe can bring in and lift sales, have some new ideas, whatever. They just sort of looking at numbers and going, okay, we can get rid of him, we can get rid of him, we can get rid of him and save some money. And that's always the way it is. And so you see these massive layoffs and everybody's like, oh, maybe we're going to get a new direction now. And it just doesn't happen. They just become a smaller company with producing the same stuff.
Well, they don't consider that maybe the 40 out of the 90 books they're releasing every month that don't make money, that lose money for the company, just axe them completely. Don't replace them with another 40 books that won't make money. Just stop producing the 40 that don't make money. That would be a smart decision, but they won't, because that would then diminish their market share.
I don't know. Maybe there is some change because of, from what everyone was saying, when they were talking about what David Gabriel's role has been at Marvel, is that he had much more of a hand in the creative direction and the way that they were producing comic books than anyone really realized. Maybe he was the reason that they were doing 75 books a month.
It's possible. Yeah, I did read that, and I was kind of like, well, maybe. But then I saw the editorial, and I'm not really up like you guys are on who's doing what. I mean, I know Brevort's still there and those type of things, but I don't know who the rank and file editors are. And but I just looked at their tenure there, and I was kind of like, okay, that looks like they're trying to save money. That looks like they're trying to save money. That looks like they're trying to save money. And what this whole industry needs is a complete overhaul, and I just don't know that we're going to get it, unfortunately.
Wes, you did make a good point there that they are kind of, that maybe David Gabriel had more impact on the direction, but I think that just comes down to he was the guy, and he was the one to execute the plan of, we need to sell X number of units per month. It doesn't matter if we're doing it through 7 books, if we can hit that number with 7 titles, or if we have to publish 95 titles to get there.
So he's taking it from a bean counting accountant type of perspective.
Yes, and he was executing that because his job was to keep them in the number 1 position.
Well, remember, he's the one who actually came out and spoke the truth and got lambasted for it and had to walk it back when he came out and said, yeah, our diversity books don't sell. And then,
he said he tried to play the neutral party. Well, what we heard was that the diversity books don't sell. I don't necessarily believe that, but that's what the retail, that was what his actual comments were. Like, yeah, it got really kind of taken out of context. He 100% went with the spineless way. He didn't take a stand. He
danced around it.
What they were, he danced around it, tried to put all the blame. Now, the fact that so many people did take it as David Gabriel saying those things and not just being the guy repeating what somebody else said, I think it's hilarious, because the same people are the ones that lambasted him so badly. I read that and I'm like, David Gabriel didn't say any of that shit. He's taking the blows, the slings and arrows here, but all he did was repeat what other people told him, which I found fucking hilarious, because he's on their team and he got the lion's share of fallout for it. But he was, hey, look, crazies eat their own. And that's what happened there.
I think the biggest problem is, honestly, that when Marvel and DC got absorbed by these huge corporations, that I don't even know that the huge corporations care that much about either one of, those business. They're just small fry. They bring very little money. So I don't think they really care. They just look at them like, okay, we own this business and it's making this much money, but it's costing us this. We can improve that bottom line by getting rid of X amount of whatever. But I don't think anybody even get like a second thought about, well, what about the quality of the books? And are we printing too many books? And I don't even think they care. No. I think if you look at when Marvel and DC were just that, Marvel was owned by Marvel, Goodman, and DC was owned by whoever. It was like the people that worked there cared about the product, and it was important to do good product, because what little sales they got, that was their profit that allowed them to keep going. So it was very important that the books were good and that people liked the books they were producing and that they were selling. I mean, that was important. I don't think that's important to these people anymore. And so that's why you never see the change in creative direction or content, is because it's not even on their radar.
They wouldn't even know from the top. They don't even know what it is. And,
right.
you have Bob Iger come out, and how many years did he come out at every shareholder thing and goes, well, what we need to get back to is just telling good stories. And no one ever said, okay, Bob, what does that mean? What is a good story to you? Because it's easy to come out and say, we need to tell good stories. What is that? Because you don't seem to know. Right. And none of the people that work for you seem to know. You don't seem to know what your audience wants, or even though they tell you vocally all the time. With YouTube, with social media, you have nothing but constant market research coming back to you. But you don't want to listen to it because you just don't like those people. Well, if you don't like your customers and you don't want to make things for your customers, I don't know what to tell you about your profitability. Like, you come out and you're like, we hate our customers because we think they're all bigots. Well, if your customers are all bigots and nobody who's not a bigot buys your product when you put it out, you better start catering to bigots, I guess,
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just wrong,
Yeah. Right.
I think Leprosky brings up a good point, because DC has been owned by Warner Brothers since the late 70s, I believe.
Right.
It would have
late 60s.
Would have been a pretty big entity in there, but eventually Warner Brothers becomes Time Warner, AOL,
Mm-hmm.
and then so it becomes a smaller cog and a bigger engine, and then it ends up becoming part of AT&T, which is a really kind of a big debacle, and it becomes less important there, and now it's a part of Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's less important there. And the same thing happens with Marvel, over time as they're part of these bigger things, and I expect Disney to be acquired by like Apple sometime in like the next 10 years. They just become more and more diminished, their influence and their importance within these big companies. But the weirdest thing is there is no Spider-Man movie generating $1.5 billion without the comic books. There's no Batman movie franchise without the comic books. There are no cartoon empires without the comic books. You don't get the merch sale of $1 billion a year just on Spider-Man without the comic books being there, to begin with. And that's kind of the origin and the foundational element of all this, retail power that you have through all these different industries, whether it be video games, movies, television, streaming, just merchandising. But it becomes less and less important over time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're hitting on something here, but it's something that a lot of companies are currently or have recently gone through, and it's where they believe that they are able to transcend what they started as and move it on. Like Kevin Feige, I truly believe, thinks that he and his creative vision has transcended comics, that the movies have now replaced the comics as the go-to source for these characters. And they don't excuse me, they don't really give a shit about what brought them to the dance anymore. And we're seeing it in the automotive industry. How many companies have tried just transitioning to electric cars and then lose all of their market share because they don't like the fact that they want to just be Marvel just wants to be a lifestyle brand. They don't even want to be an entertainment company anymore.
I think Disney wants to be a technology company. I think they want to be an
Disney
app.
Does. Yes, Disney wants to be a technology company, but it also wants to be a lifestyle brand. Neither of which matter about the kind of there's nothing foundational to them,
Right.
because you could just go buy other technology. If your technology stops working, you buy somebody else's and you integrate it in. And the same can be said for their lifestyle brand. Oh, well, the comics aren't selling, sell them a lunchbox. Oh, the lunchboxes aren't selling, sell them a t-shirt. That's what they want to be. But they don't understand that the reason why people want to buy a lunchbox, a t-shirt, go to a movie and watch a TV show is because somewhere along the line, they read a comic book. Or they had a friend that did read a comic book and told them about it. In the same way that the automobile industry doesn't like the fact that they want to just be able to make cars to move people places, there's a lot of their audience, their customer base, that actually likes mechanics. They don't want to look at they don't want to open a hood and see a fucking plastic board. It's all the same things. It's them disregarding the basis of what made them popular, like the foundational elements of their success, and thinking that they can transcend them. And they've moved to a post-comic industry, the same way that a lot of other corporations think that they've moved to a post kind of
call it
post-commercial reality. Yeah, post-consumer reality. Fuck you, you need money. You only get it from consumers.
Well,
it's the end.
Let me just give you a little piece of, anecdotal market research. When they put out a Captain America comic book style figure, it sells out. When they put out a Chris Evans Captain America figure, it goes clearance. Now, more people watch the movies than read the comic books, but your hardcore that buy the merch, they're still, the comic book side still outweighs it. It's still
they still just look better. They look cooler. You can do more stuff with an artist than you can do with a real human being.
Exactly.
Well, the problem is you have people in charge, and this has been a problem for a long time, that aren't creative people. They're tasked with running a business and making as much money as possible, and so they look at these things and they're just spreadsheets, and there's no thought given to how this was successful or why it's not successful. It's just numbers, and then, well, how can we fix the numbers so they look better? And it's never about creativity. I was talking to a comic book writer years ago, and I said, why do movies suck so bad? Why are these idiots in charge of film studios that don't know what they're doing? And he said, and this is so true, he goes, well, because all the people that know this stuff, they want to be making the movies. And so that leaves no one to be in charge except idiots, because all the people that are smart and know the industry want to be making the product, the movies, the comics, whatever. The guys that are in charge of that know nothing about it and don't care to know anything about it. And I think that's a major issue.
I think you're right. It's basically the whole story of like John Scully taking over Apple. Like he was a CEO of fucking Pepsi, but he didn't know how to run a company like Apple. And he basically ran it into the ground because the people that actually liked the product that they were making didn't want to run the company. They wanted to make the product. But then you end up with idiots running the company. That's and it happens every fucking time.
Yeah.
Well, this is every time
that Aaron, the same thing's happening at Hasbro. They don't even want to be toy companies anymore.
No, they want to be an IP farm, and they want to, basically, like, they want to own a bunch of stuff and then license it out to mitigate risk. Because if you're going to make an action figure line, well, that's very expensive to put that out there and then get that out on the market and do all the, handle all the distribution and have people that handle all that. But if you can license it to a company and they have to do all that, and then you just collect royalties and part of the sales, then that's a more advantageous space. And that's why, we know eventually Disney will, it takes them a while. And, I know we've been talking about this for 10 years, but the moment that Disney bought them, Neon and I were basically like, okay, start the clock. How long until they go with the Disney Comics model, where they just decide it's not worth it having this little shitty rat infested office in New York anymore. Let's just hand everything over to a couple of brand managers in Burbank and have them license out the Marvel characters to a couple of companies, and they'll do comics, and we'll still maintain the IP. We'll own everything that they make and not have to deal with the expense of it. I mean, eventually that'll happen. And that's why I always say, once a corporate entity comes in and absorbs any kind of creative endeavor, where creativity is king, be it Pixar, be it Lucasfilm, be it Marvel Comics. Once they do that, the clock is ticking on the death of that, because eventually all that corporate ownership will come in. And like Aaron said, the non-creative people will come in, and the worst kind of non-creative people are the ones that think they're creative. I know somebody who was at Disney Animation, and they said that they kept getting notes from this person like, well, you've got we've got Donald Duck back in DuckTales. Do we really need Launchpad? Shouldn't we just write him out since he was a replacement character for Donald in the original? And it's like, no, Launchpad is DuckTales. He has to be in there. And then that same executive came up and goes, hey, I was thinking about Gargoyles. And it's like, oh yeah, you were thinking about Gargoyles? I want to do a Gargoyles show? Yeah, but what if Gargoyles was our Teen Titans Go? And it's like, oh my God, that's the worst idea ever. So, when you have executives coming in and giving you those, those kinds of notes, thinking that they know what they're talking about, that's what happens is, that's why these things are always a problem.
It's the famous Kevin Smith speech where he's talking about his Superman pitch.
Yeah. And
I want a giant spider. Yeah. Because I saw that when I was a kid.
You can't fly because that's fucking gay, man. So he's not going to be flying. I don't want these other things that are associated with Superman, but we need a giant fucking spider.
Yeah, and then he went and saw Wild Wild West, and he's like, "You got this fucking spider."
Yeah.
Well, think of how all these companies got started and what they've become is this kind of the sad thing. I mean, it's like Walt Disney was an artist, you know what I mean? And he created he created Disney, but he had the, it was about the quality of the product, and it was about and that turned to success because of that quality of product. But then you've got, like you said, 4 generations of corporations have bought it, and now nobody cares about that crap anymore. Martin Goodman owned Marvel, and he basically turned it over to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and who actually cared about what they were doing. And you had all this great stuff came from it, but then it gets sold and sold and sold, and now nobody cares about that stuff anymore.
And the best, age of Marvel ever is when Jim Shooter's in charge, and he started out as a professional writer at 15 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he knew what he was doing. He cared about the stories, and he cared about
he was
giving people what they wanted.
Yep.
I think the problem you end up with in comics is you end up with people that know business that want to be creative, and rather than people that are super creative that want to know business.
And when I got in at Boom, and I thought, man, these are, it's a comic company. These people want to make good comics. And then what I realized was, no, they didn't want to make good comics. They wanted to make movie pitches, but we had the Disney license. And so I was like, I want to make great Disney comics. I want to make great Pixar comics. I want everything that we do in these comics to stand toe to toe with like the movies that were coming out, because this is before Pixar had lost its edge. This is when, they were in their just their golden age of everything was a banger. And I remember getting pulled into Ross Ritchie's office and being told, it doesn't matter what we put in the comics. What matters is the fact that it says Toy Story on the cover. You can just have Woody and Buzz sitting on a curb outside of Andy's house talking for 22 pages and it'll sell. And I'm like, no, it won't. And so that was my first introduction to the fact that passion and caring about what you do, caring about the quality of the work, does not get you anywhere. It does not do a good thing for you. It gets you blacklisted. It gets people trying to run you out of the industry. Actually caring about the customer and the end product and what you're giving them and the property. I was on a call with Pixar where I can't remember who it was at Boom said that nobody cared about what was in the comic. They said that with Pixar on the call, and you just heard the line went dead. Like Pixar was just. And a week later, like 2 weeks later, I had to be up at Pixar because Disney Publishing, and we had a really great person on the Disney Publishing side who cared about the product, Jesse Post. Jesse Post arranged it so that I could go up to Pixar and try to fix that boondoggle, which I did. Mm-hmm. And everybody was on board, and then I got fired by Boom a week later. So, I mean, that just tells you how it goes.
It costing them money.
Yep. But I would have made the money.
Dylan, did you notice that one of the editors fired was Devin Lewis?
No, I did not.
He's the dude that's doing Punisher. There's 2 books at Marvel right now that are ongoing that are worth reading, Infernal Hulk and Punisher. And they fired one of the fucking editors that was on one of the books. I couldn't believe it.
That's insane. Well, that's also a big problem with leadership is there's no one that can identify talent. It's like, this person who's never written a good comic in their life, let's give them Daredevil. This guy who wrote one good comic 8 years ago, let's give him Wolverine. It's like we need people in leadership that can identify talent and be like, this person consistently puts out good comics. This person consistently does the opposite, and realize what to do there instead of just, let's just keep on. They've been in the industry so long. They should just keep getting work. They don't have to earn it.
Yeah. But I was really disappointed they let that guy go because I was like, Punisher just came back and it's badass.
Yeah. It's been good.
Well, he probably cared. He probably cared about the product. You can't
Well,
have that.
I think he was what Lepresky was saying. I think he was like tenured, so he probably cost more than everybody else.
Right. That was completely a financial decision. It had nothing to do with creativity. And it's, I think back to, because I was there at DC when AT&T, just cleaned house back in, it was September of 2019 or 2020. It was during COVID, whatever. But, and they just got rid of everybody. And I was sitting there going, I literally don't know anybody that works at DC. You went from one day from knowing everybody to the next day not knowing anybody that worked there, because they got rid of everybody. And
So there would have been Didio, Bob Harris, Bobby Chase, as far as like the big leadership people.
Yeah, Chiarello was like the greatest art director ever in the history of comics, maybe except for John Romita Sr. But he was so good and so great to work with, because he knew stuff, but he didn't like step on you. He just kind of, he allowed you creative input, but he also had like standards, and it was like, just gone because, he's too much money. He's too much money. We don't need an art director. It's too much. And I mean, that's just how it goes. And it's really unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, just watch the cycle keep repeating itself, and the company
DC's recovered a bit, because they are doing far better than Marvel right now. They have way more than 2 books worth reading. They have more than 2 books worth reading in their Absolute line alone, let alone all their kind of in continuity stuff, thankfully. We even got a good Deathstroke book this week, Dylan. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, 2 issues in. It's been good. Balls to the wall action.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how DC's had like periods of time where they were outselling Marvel, but for some reason they've always seemed to me like secondary to Marvel, just because of the properties that Marvel has, or maybe the legend that Marvel has behind them. Like when they were doing Justice League, the funny version of Justice League, that Maguire. I mean, I'm talking way back, like the late '80s, and that's when that was like the #1 selling book and stuff. But they never really even though they had the numbers, they never really ever seemed to unseat Marvel as the most popular, or at least assumed the most popular company. And I guess maybe that's just the characters or something. But it's there's been a lot of periods of time where DC has outsold Marvel and had stuff really cooking, but it never seems to get long-term traction.
They're
outselling them now.
Point.
Yeah, Marvel's putting out 70 books and DC's putting out 50, and DC's still outselling them.
Well, a lot of that's the new Batman book, right? I mean, that's like it's getting huge numbers.
Yeah,
a lot of it has to do with at some point DC developed a serious inferiority complex to Marvel. Not sure exactly when it really, but it took root at some point. And I think it was after Marvel finally took over. They developed like a corporate inferiority complex. And as a result, every time they've gotten close to like a sustained period on top, they've shot themselves like square in the dick with by deciding, ooh, we're right there. Now let's go get a bunch of Marvel rejects to put on some of these books, because that's what's going to get us over the top. And it might have been because a lot of the artists that became super huge might have started off at DC and then left and made their real name over at Marvel. A number of writers that started off at DC went over and became household comic book industry names at Marvel. And so maybe it's just because they let so many of their creators go right before they truly broke out that they developed that inferiority complex. But now and ever since then, though, they've been just trying to steal back from Marvel, and Marvel waits until these guys are. Look, Brian Bendis was at the top of the industry for how long? And then he finally gets over to DC after like 5 years of sustained poor quality. And he's at a point in his career where he fucking sucks. He's used all of any good ideas he ever had, has just the wells run dry. And then he goes over to DC and does Superman. And it's just a hunk of shit for like what, 3 years, 5 years, something like that.
It's a hell of a thing to bring up on Superman Day, Doc. You remind us about
I know.
Bendis. Oh man.
But my point is they develop that inferiority complex, and then so their solution is every time they're on the right track to then go and grab some Marvel stuff, because that is what they've convinced themselves will put them over the top, and then they end up on a backslide again.
Yeah, interesting.
Snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Mhm.
Trying to replicate the Grant Morrison going to Marvel, reinventing the X-Men type of thing.
Yeah.
So let's hear for the peoples. Let's start wrapping this bad boy up. Nerd says in season 1, Cora starts out with all the elements except air. She gets air right after crying. Most of her season 1 struggles stem from shipping dynamics.
So season 1 was pretty good until the end, and then they didn't know how to end it, and they wrapped it up in a nice little bow. There were a lot of consequences. There were a lot of things that happened. I loved Amon. I thought he was really cool. And then the conflict at the end, they just wrap everything up because Amon was stealing people's bending. He took Cora's bending. She had everything but air, and then she just magically gets air at the end for no reason. And then then everyone's bending gets restored because he took, was it Beifong's bending? It's like everything just got fixed. All the consequences of the season just got fixed in like the last 10 minutes of the final episode. It was just so stupid. But until then, season 1, I liked.
Kind of reminiscent of a comic book this week, dude. Something called Ultimate Wolverine.
Ultimate Wolverine, I liked.
No, they had no idea. He was like, all right, let's just stab her and it'll be
They're
over.
still doing that?
Well, yeah, it
No,
was
it's
like
over.
a bit anticlimactic, but I still
A
liked
bit.
it.
The art was really good, though. I love the
Art was
Alessandro Cappuccio art. I was like, what is going on here?
Isn't that holding up the ultimate finale thing that they're doing too?
No, I think they're waiting for the ultimate finale. I
Okay.
think that's what's holding everything
Yeah, because
else
this
up.
leads into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sebastian Howard says, I feel like Marvel is just dead. That Mark Guggenheim Wolverine Spider-Man series was awesome. Had cool retro 90s art and only lasted 10 issues because no one read it because Marvel is trash now.
Oh, they did a very, very poor job of marketing it.
Back in the day, you wouldn't need to market a Spider-Man
I
Wolverine
know.
book. It would just fucking sell because it was Spider-Man Wolverine.
I know, but the problem is the industry is so dead.
Mm-hmm.
That you actually do need to, because nobody, and additionally, I mean, when you're releasing what was it, 700 books a month across the industry now, there's so much noise, so much garbage. Look, I'm sorry to say, but there's probably only 200 books total that were worth even publishing, much less reading.
Yeah. But you know it's a bad time when you can have a really cool Spider-Man Wolverine book and it goes nowhere.
Do you think it's because of all
it didn't matter?
Do you think it's because of all the woke ideology that just sort of permeated this industry and drove so many people away that they just assume it's going to be bad, so they don't even pick it up, or they've just given up on?
I don't know what
Marvel
it's
doing
woke
everything?
ideology. I just think people are so used to Marvel just sucking right now that they assumed it was going to be bad.
They just put out too many books a month.
And there's a ton of Spider-Man and Wolverine books because
yeah, that's true.
Well, I
mean,
think they ran off a big chunk of their customer base, and that customer base is not paying attention anymore to any like.
Well, that's what I mean. I guess regardless
Yeah.
of why they ran them off, it's like if you assume something's going to be bad, you're not even going to give it a chance.
Well, I mean, and it had these, and Kari Andrews was the artist in the majority of that Guggenheim run, and he did all the covers. So if a Kari Andrews cover ain't getting your attention, I mean, whoa, I mean, sheesh.
But at the end of the day, everybody knew the book didn't matter.
Well, also, I think
Like,
you make a point there, Doc, because everyone knows that Marvel books don't go past 10 issues for the most part. Why start?
Why get invested?
Ongoing
Between
books canceled at 10 issues is pathetic.
And you broke the habit. You broke people's habit. It's like, you stop.
You broke their
People
habit.
stop being Wednesday warriors, and then they just slowly drift away and find a new hobby.
Yep,
and
that's exactly right.
Yeah, and so look, at least with like say the regular X book line, all those books are kind of sort of maybe a little interconnected. Everybody knew from the launch that this book didn't connect to anything. It doesn't matter in the ongoing tapestry of the Marvel universe. It's something that just exists. It doesn't fit in. So
Correct.
why
Yeah.
am I going to read okay, it's the cool one, but it's the one that doesn't matter.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like
Marvel's
when
been
you had
canceling everything at 5 to 10 issues.
yeah, and when you had like you had the what was it, the that like nonstop Spider-Man a little while ago. Whether it was any good, I mean, because it was kind of insanity, but
It was Joe Kelly and Bacalo.
yeah, Kelly and
looks like-
Bacalo, and then Kelly and Sandoval. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter because it wasn't ASM. And that's
Well, they used to have 4
Spider-Man-
Spider-Man books, and 3 of them weren't ASM. Spider-Man carried
I
most of the
understand, but all the rest of them don't sell either.
Well, they don't sell as well as ASM.
Yeah, right now, none of them
Well, yeah, right now.
do.
It's just because Marvel's in a terrible spot. ASM's bad too. For the most
So,
part.
so if you want a book like Spider-Man Wolverine to work, you make that the primary Wolverine book. And it's just it's Wolverine and Spider-Man, and you make that as the primary Wolverine book, and everything else and builds out from that. If you want nonstop Spider-Man to work, you make that the ASM book. Because you want to put your best talent and the most marketable product on the most marketable title to build that out.
Nerd says you should invite the real life fake wizard.
Okay.
Is that Danhausen or something?
Oh man, if we could get Danhausen on the show, I'd be over the moon.
Who's the real life fake wizard?
Sully would get cursed.
Is it Gary?
Is that Alan Moore?
Gary Beekler?
Grant Morrison?
Not sure.
Grant Morrison, the fake wizard, or
Is
oh
it
no
a
no,
is it a YouTuber?
My vote would be
Oh.
Gary Beekler.
it's
He's a
that
wizard.
it's that guy that kept running for the mayor of New
Oh,
York.
he's a
that wore the
YouTuber.
hat on his head.
I've
The one
never
wore
seen
the
the real
shoe-
life fake wizard. I'll check it out.
The one that wore the rain boot on his head.
Okay.
Vermin Supreme. That's who we need.
I thought
No, they
Vermin
say he
Supreme
does
was my.
commentary dressed as a fake wizard.
I'm pretty sure that the Vermin Supreme is my governor right now.
I think you're right.
The next nerd says, I think it's also the characters. Whatever normies think of Marvel characters, the lineup is always Marvel in the majority. Or comic book characters, they think of. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
X-Men was huge. You know, all the cartoons and everything really did grab generations at a very young age. Whereas, yeah, you did have the Batman the Animated Series, but there was way more Marvel stuff out there.
Yeah, and you had, and I think that helped to reinforce that DC inferiority complex. Yeah, they got Batman, they got Superman, but outside of that, on like characters that everybody knows.
Flash is up there too. He's big.
Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman. I mean, for years, like Wonder Woman was like the only female superhero any normie knew. They couldn't name like any Marvel female superhero.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
Like,
no, I understand. I agree with that, but she didn't sell.
One figure you can always count on selling and be more expensive almost immediately on the secondary market is any classic version of the Flash. Always
You're
a
a
popular.
robot right now.
Oh, am I really? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You got robotic.
But that's crazy, Speak Dylan. DC has the far better heroes than Marvel. It's not even close.
Well, that's the thing. That's where I always thought that DC had, like, at least in my sphere of normies, more people that I knew DC characters. Like, more people knew the Trinity and Green Lantern and Flash and all that. Like, people I'd run into knew more about. Like, I always thought DC had the more iconic characters that people knew of than Marvel.
Sounds like he ran with the good crowd.
I'd agree.
I'd say here's the thing. Think when you say superheroes, you think of the DC characters. When you say comic book heroes, people think Marvel characters. And I don't know why, even though they're kind of the same. It's the way I think that, and when you're talking about the comic book industry, people automatically go to Marvel. But they think superheroes, you think DC, which is a weird dichotomy.
Wraith-X7, unpopular opinion. Marvel Comics started going downhill when Quesada and Gemma started calling the shots 25 years ago. Actually, when Quesada started calling the shots, they entered like a third or fourth Marvel golden era, or at least like 7
Yeah,
8
they
years,
entered
right?
into a boom period.
Yeah, I think Axel Alonso is the big X factor in that one. That's when you can see the sharp direction change for more, your like intersectional post.
No, I mean the second half of Quesada's run as EIC sucks, and it definitely goes downhill. But the first part was really, really solid.
But I think by the time you got to the second half of Quesada's, I guess
you
tenure,
got Bendis burning himself out. Mark Miller's kind of stepped away to go do his own thing.
Well, yeah, but what I think is, I think Quesada himself started getting distracted by other responsibilities outside of just directing the future of comics, because that was around the time that they had worked out their Merrill Lynch deal to finance film, and he was involved in that. So I think that his attention got split, and as a result, he gave a lot less energy and effort and creativity to the direction of Marvel Comics. I don't think it was, but I think that was more on him taking on too many responsibilities. And then he realized it, let Axel Alonso, his number 2, kind of take the reins and focused exclusively on not comic stuff.
Yeah. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Hey, Sully. What are your thoughts on the FanFest Comicsgate crowdfund only raising $3,000 in 3 weeks so far? I don't think backers want to fund other people's travel expenses and hotels.
Does this mean there will be no open bar? Wow.
No, open bar is a trademark of Critical Drinker. They can't use it.
Oh, there you go. Oh, and not with the Civil War going on. I'm actually kind of ignorant about that right now. I've kind of like, I'm a bit more choosier on what I'm spending my downtime with and how I'm enjoying my escapism. Like if I want to see art stuff, like I will like literally, Lepresti, I like, Graybeards and the Professionals are great shows. Masters plying their trade and showing you how it's done, having fun and chatting. And if other art stuff too, I'll watch old Bob Ross instead, because I need some joy in my life. I'm a big fan of like what you consume, you will become. And so I've kind of like, I still watch Jack Show. I'm a huge Jack Show fan, but that's as close as I get these days. And besides like, individual interactions such as with like Aaron here or Billy Tucci or RT Bear and, these like these lovable guys from that kind of, side of the aisle. But yeah, I mean, well, good luck for Fans Fest. I mean, I hope nobody starts crap with you. I don't think you should be starting crap with people at cons. So, I mean, I hope they have a peaceful time, full of what they like to do best.
There we go.
Thank you.
I guess we'll start wrapping it up. Mr. Lepresti, do you have some final words on your Barbaric Adventures comic book that's up right now on Indiegogo, and maybe some comic books to recommend this week?
I have final words on Barbaric Adventures. Unfortunately, I am not the vociferous reader of comics that I used to be.
It's all good.
But there's 3 weeks, a little less than 3 weeks left on Barbaric Adventures. Again, it's a 64-page black and white magazine format, but it's square bound and nicer paper, so it's more like, probably feels more like an old-fashioned graphic novel. But we have 4 cover options. Here's some of the artwork on the inside here. But we're at, like I said, we're at less than 3 weeks to go on this campaign. we're at 380 backers right now. So we got a couple on this show. So thank you guys very much for jumping in and supporting. Once we get 20 more backers, get to 400, we'll be raffling off some original artwork to one lucky backer. So get in there and support this indie comic that, one thing I try to do is bring the same kind of quality you would be used to getting from the mainstream on these books. So you back this project, you're not going to be sorry. It'll deliver. So and as far as comic book reading, I haven't. The only thing I've read recently is the Conan stuff from Titan.
You recommend it?
I do. I love it. There was actually they did a King Cole story, and I'm a huge Cole fan, more so than Conan. So when I saw Cole worked into the story, I was like, yes. So great artwork.
You should check out the Atlantean, Aaron. I do the editing on that. It's we've had Russ on the show, who's the artist on there, and it's just all King Cole stories.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll send you some info on it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I keep an eye on is kind of in the indie market, and because a lot of guys are doing books. Like I know Kenneth Roquefort's got a book, Groken 4, on Kickstarter, and his artwork is just fantastic. And so there's a lot of I think a lot of great stuff going on in independent comics. I don't know if you'd consider Image independent, but even the Ghost Machine stuff, I haven't read any of it, but just looking at the artwork, we talked about David Finch's stuff earlier. I'm one of those guys that if I don't like the artwork, I'm not even going to pick the book up to read it. So at least if it has really good artwork, that's half the battle for me. So those are the things that have sort of caught my eye recently.
Well, thanks for joining us, brother. We've
Thank
got
you for having me on, Wes.
Carlitos Figueroa. Another problem is they don't keep track on character traits, both new and already established, or fix the damage done to them when they deconstruct them.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Carol Danvers is still running around after locking people up without due process, and she's not treated like a villain.
Yeah. They even had a story where she defeated all the other Avengers, but it was like fake versions of them so that she could steal all their powers just to show that she was more powerful than them. That was kind of weird. But they used to, like, Brevoort's job back at Marvel Comics back in the day was like the Marvel Comics historian. And, he would go through and be like, nope, you can't do that because it doesn't make sense for the character. You can't do that because in this story, this already happened and it doesn't make sense. And I don't think anybody's keeping track of any of that stuff anymore.
No, it's just, it's like, hey, continuity. And it's just like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It don't matter. None of this matters.
Yeah, kind of. Like, just think about all the stuff that Tom King has done to characters. They've never fixed any of it.
I know it's like defund the continuity cops, more like it.
Well, usually what they do with Tom King is they go, "Oh, it's an Elseworld story," after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's definitely another just kind of barrier to investing in the character and supporting them every single month is once you start introducing these kind of things and never going and addressing them and fixing them and getting them back on track, unfortunately. Although DC's doing a better job despite having Tom King than Marvel is. And we do have a sponsor for today's video. Let's run this trailer again and see if we can hear from Aaron after this.
Previously, monsters became mankind's last line of defense, led by an ancient vampire, a fragile alliance built on distrust. A vigilante turned something darker, a cop fighting the beast within, a cursed priest bound to a demon, a child trapped in a monster's body. But now, something ancient has surfaced. The Tome of Leviathan, a book of apocalyptic power that no human can understand. Except one, Dr. Herbert West. Cold, methodical, obsessed with conquering death. First, he brought the dead back. Then, he learned to control them. Now, with the tome, he won't just raise the dead, he'll command them. Dinosaurs, corpses, monsters, everything that's ever died will fight for him. And if that wasn't enough, something inside the team is breaking. If they fail, the world won't survive.
It's still
There you
too
go.
loud for Sully.
Oh,
Can't take the book.
old me talk.
Sully's like, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm so excited about this. Like, first of all, anytime you got a Kenneth Rocafort cover, Chef's Kiss. We got other great cover artists on there. I think that might be the last cover that Voudon did before he unfortunately passed away. That's the stinger at the end with the T-Rex. It's the stuff that Aurelio is doing on this book art wise is fantastic. Like his character designs, he created these characters and he had like a real vision for them, and the character designs, the way that he moves them across the page and the things that he does. Like, I think 3 is his best work that he's ever done. And I'm looking forward to working with him on other stuff as well. I think, if you guys can, I'm going to throw it in the chat again. Just go and sign up for updates. We'd really appreciate it. We want to, if you missed Unholy Nightmare 1 and 2, they'll be part of the campaign, so you can catch up. A lot of good stuff here. I think that if you like superheroes and you like the idea of a little bit of superhero horror, you're going to love this book.
All right, Aaron, you got any books that you want to recommend this week, or maybe some toys?
Well, I'm obviously recommending the GI Joes. Let me come back to me. Let me go get some toys. I'll be right back.
Oh no. Okay. We're moving away from Sparrow. Sully, what are you recommending this week, buddy?
I got you back, Aaron Sparrow. I got my G.I. Joe funny books right here. I got Silent Missions, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, the Zartan issue. I got the Jorge Fornes B cover. I love this cover because I had the Zartan action figure with the swamp skier when I was a kid, when I was 11 years old. And Zartan had this face that you can pop on top of it. So this is like very toyetic in a way. Really like this. It was a decent issue. It was pretty just very standard. It's better than the Baroness issue, but not as good as the Crimson Guard. We got G.I. Joe Energon Universe issue 21. Issue 21 is auspicious because this is also a silent issue. And I kind of felt a little a bit too much silent issues. Maybe they could have just delayed this 1 week because this is coming out weekly. It's 5 issues. And so now we got basically 2 silent issues in 1 week. So, but we have an issue 21 homage kind of thing to the big Snake Eyes story, but with no Snake Eyes yet to be seen in the Energon universe. But it's about getting Scarlet back, from her deep cover. And it's pretty entertaining, very well paced, great art, and sign me up. I love this book. And my pick of the week is something that I listened to my friends here in the show and their suggestions. I picked up Ordained
Jurassic
issue number
Park.
1. Yeah, huh? From Bad Idea. This is Robert Venditti, Trevor Hairsine, and Dave Stewart. It's like if a priest was John Wick, but this is the 4th printing of this book. And what I gotta say, Bad Idea has this paper stock. I love this paper stock. It's a little rough. It's not glossy. It just holds the colors so well. I mean, I'm such a picky person when it comes to publishing, and something like this is just sublime to me. It's paper stock. paperweight. And I love the way this paper holds the color, and because it's something that we've kind of lost, is like we read these things through a backlit tablet half the times, not even at its proper size. But to find like a nice book that has a really nice paper that just, it looks really nice. It was very entertaining, and I'm going to hustle down issues 2 and 3. And those are my picks of the week. Thank you, everyone out there in the chat, everyone out there in TV land. Keep those comments coming. Continue this comic book shop style conversation right here all week long.
I don't know about you, Dylan, but when I think about Sully, I think about picky reader.
Considering
his favorite fucking character is Jeff the Land Shark.
He's like my third favorite character, dude. I told you that.
Did you order the 2-pack, the Marvel Rivals Venom with Jeff the Land Shark?
No.
Yeah, that's out now. You can get that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We got Boogie Scumbag, which is a great handle, by the way. Reboot Wonder Woman, Firestorm King, and will Alfred ever come back? Good show, y'all. Mr. Lepresky, without you, Wonder Woman, Ends of the Earth wouldn't have worked.
Oh, thank you. Gail Simone, when I first got on there, said, "What do you want to draw?" And I said, "Can we do like barbarians and some jungle action?" And that's what she wrote that for me. And so it was right in my wheelhouse. So thank you very much.
I do think Wonder Woman is an atrocity. Doc and I have actually reviewed the latest issue of Wonder Woman. It'll be up on Monday or Tuesday. And the rumor was Alfred was going to come back at the end of Hush 2, Hatouche, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. We'll have to see about that.
I'm not sure the end of Hush 2 is going to happen.
Hush 2 might not finish.
2030.
Yeah. All right, Sparrow, do you got things that you want to recommend now?
Yes, I do. So I recommended the 2 G.I. Joe books this week, of course. Obviously, big favorites of mine. I'm also going to recommend over on Big Bad Toy Store, you can pick up BP Bulletproof Vest from Cops Fighting Crime in a Future Time. It's got a cyborg body underneath the trench coat. Very, very cool figure. I'm a big fan of Cops, and apparently they're going to be doing more. They got Long Arm coming. They've got Buttons McBoom Boom and Dr. Bad Vibes in the pipeline.
Buttons McBoom Boom.
Yeah, dude, that guy's great. He opens up his coat and machine guns drop out. Love that figure as a kid, and I'm looking forward to the new one. I picked up the DC Rebirth Robin by McFarlane Toys. It's got this great wired cape, and this is the last Robin before Megan Fitzmartin ruined him. So this is the last version of Tim Drake before he was despoiled. So like all McFarlane figures, yes, like all McFarlane figures, the legs are ridiculously way too long. So I'm going to replace those to bring those into the proper height. But it is a great figure, and I'm a sucker for a wired posable cape. So I'm recommending that one. I'm recommending from G.I. Joe the new Lifeline figure. It's pretty damn good. He's got a lot of cool accessories. He's got his little medical pack, and he comes with a bunch of different medical accessories. He also comes with his shoulder gun, which I took out because it's a regular pistol. If you guys know Lifeline, he is a pacifist. He doesn't touch a weapon, so I'm just trying to find a proper flare gun to go in there. But until then, his holster will be empty. And I also recommend, if you've got the original CoverGirl, pick up the Emma Frost 97 and swap out the ugly head that they gave CoverGirl with a more attractive one. I've actually got an extra CoverGirl, or an extra Emma Frost arriving today, so I can paint one of these heads with brown hair. So I've got some options. And then finally, Lepresti, this one's for you.
Uh-oh.
I'm recommending the Toy Biz Dragon Man. Now, you were very smart. I gave you one of these.
Yeah.
And then the figure, and it was like $100 figure at the time I gave it to you, but it jumped up to like 800 to 1,000, and you opened it, but I told you it was still valuable opened, and you traded it for a very nice comic, which you can talk about in a moment. And you said, "I hope you're not insulted," and I said, "No, I'm not. I'm glad that you were able to trade it at a high value for something you wanted," and I'm especially glad now because since Hasbro has released a new Dragon Man, this one has dropped. So you can pick this one up now for about $100 again, loose. $80 to $100. So but it's a fantastic figure.
It is.
It's just really delightfully sculpted. They don't do stuff like this anymore. So if you guys are action figure fans and you always wanted the Dragon Man figure from Toy Biz, but you were never able to pick it up because it was too expensive, it's much more reasonable now. And those are my recommendations for the week.
Oh, very nice. And Kalishioki says, I appreciate your work on Wonder Woman more, Mr. Lepresti.
Thank you. Thank you very
Wow.
much.
A lot of admirers
boy.
of your Wonder Woman work.
Oh boy, Mr. Lopresti.
Where'd you get all this Rusty artwork?
Yeah. I love that story. All right, Dylan, you got anything to recommend this week?
Yes, got some good comics this week. I said Deathstroke #2. I really enjoyed. Action packed. If you're disappointed with action in comics now, you could definitely check out Deathstroke because it's been nothing but action for these first 2 issues. Lobo #2 was a big step up from the first issue. I actually enjoyed this one. It was pretty fun, and of course, the art from Jorge Corona is incredible. We got Absolute Batman #19, which got us the introduction of Scarecrow and Deathstroke also, although we don't get a whole lot of Deathstroke. And we see the Robins, but the Scarecrow stuff in this is really good. New issue of Redcoat. Redcoat's always fantastic. The one Ghost Machine book that comes out on time every month, but it's still really good. I like what they're doing with Benedict Arnold, and it's been interesting. Battle Beast. Battle Beast is great. This is the second issue since coming back after their hiatus, and some great action here as well. Really enjoyed that. Ultimate Wolverine, while it was anticlimactic, I still enjoyed it, and I like the story that was told here. It is unfortunate that it's not like, oh, it ends here. It's like, oh, go check out the end of the Ultimate Universe to really get what happens. And then also the G.I. Joe Zartan silent issue was pretty good. I liked it. Not the best thing you'll ever read, but good. And then, of course, G.I. Joe #21, which I don't know where my copy is. It's somewhere, but that was great as well, seeing Storm Shadow come in. So some good comics this week.
Battle Beast was pretty funny.
Yeah.
When he's like, heal yourself now. I was like, what?
Just wrecked them.
You got any big videos or streams people need to know about?
Yeah, I should have a Superman video up later today. Hopefully I can get that done, get that up today. So check that
Very
out.
nice. How can people join your guild and start campaigning with you in video games?
I don't have a guild for anything. I don't play World of Warcraft.
I thought everything had guilds now. Okay.
No.
All right, Doc. Looks like you're muted. Maybe you're there. Maybe you're having a smoke.
I'm here.
Oh, nope, he's there.
Here.
You got anything
Yep.
you want to recommend, dude?
Well, I'm going to recommend that folks go and check out our review of Wonder Woman #32. Maybe, who knows? Does it matter? This book is fucking awful,
True.
but it has some good looking art. Not super great. I know Wes and I had this discussion. I'm not the biggest fan of Daniel Sampierre's art style, but I like it. It's technically competent.
You
don't necessarily
compared
like
it
for
unfavorably
superhero.
to Gary Frank, dude.
I said
Terrible
it's more like later Gary Frank, where it's less superhero-y, and it got so much better compositionally, but it looks less super heroic somehow. But I'm going to recommend folks go and check out our review of that. And well, let's see. We'll go with, since Aaron already showed the kind of stole my thunder. Picked this up last week because it was, but as Aaron said, try it with the Emma from X-Men 97 head. I like this retro one a lot more than I like the regular classified, because she actually looks like Cover Girl. On the classified, her makeup looks like Centerfold Girl. And then we will go with Battle Beast. Good book. It's fun. It's a great time. And then we will go with, I finally found Josh Quisera art that I like. I have never really liked his art, but this cover looks fucking dope. It really is a great looking. I mean, his Storm Shadow is amazing. And then finally, we will go with, oh shit, I don't even know if you can see this fucking thing. It's so
Yeah, I
big.
can see it.
I found a Stinger on clearance the other day, so bought another one because why not? So there we go. I love all of I love these classified figures, but this Stinger looks dope. And if you could find them, they were clearance at Walmart. And if you don't have a Ross out your way to get them for like $30. So there we go.
Well, very nice. Almost all of it was good stuff and basically new. So, strange stuff from Doc. And I think that is going to do it for the Comics Aficionados. We've got the NFL draft coming up around the corner. The NBA playoffs are about to start. WrestleMania starts today. I thought it was starting tomorrow.
NHL playoffs start today. Doc's Penguins are playing the Flyers. Jim's Flyers.
I know. I was legitimately hoping that somehow the Flyers would end up actually as the home team, mostly so next week when the draft's here, we can have the Pirates playing at home, the fucking NFL draft going on, and the Penguins playing the Flyers in the playoffs at home at the same time. But instead, we get to kick the shit out of those fucking pumpkins from the other side of the state early.
It's the Battle of Pennsylvania. This is great.
You guys aren't watching WrestleMania?
No,
I'm gonna watch it. You know what? I might watch night 2. I really don't care about. I really, really don't care about fucking Cody, and I just want to see Randy Orton take him apart.
The problem with watching WrestleMania on ESPN or the app or whatever is that you get all those stupid commercials.
Yeah.
If you watch it afterwards, you can just fast forward through them.
Yeah, I might do that. Maybe I'll watch it in the morning. I'll
If
watch
only
it
it was
in the morning.
If only it was streaming on Blockbuster, I would watch it. But otherwise, no, I'm not.
I don't know how to do that yet.
That would be amazing.
I'm working on it. I'm working on finding a way to simulcast across Blockbuster.
All right. Well, everybody have a good weekend, and we will see you next Saturday. Great show. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.